Bom dia a todos! Sejam muito bem-vindos ao terceiro e último dia da nossa Conferência Nacional Online do BNI Brasil 2020. Seja muito bem-vindo, você que está nos assistindo aí da sua casa, você que está nos assistindo pelo Zoom, você que está nos assistindo pelo canal do nosso YouTube, seja muito bem-vindo. Tenho certeza que hoje será uma manhã incrível, de muito aprendizado, de muito conhecimento, muitos testemunhos, palestrante internacional, premiação e muito mais diretamente para o conforto da sua casa. Então, seja muito bem-vindo nessa manhã de sábado e gostaria de iniciar essa primeira parte da nossa manhã com o mesmo desafio de ontem. Nós queremos estar mais próximos de você, como foi ontem, queremos ver o seu rostinho, queremos que você possa participar também constantemente durante toda essa manhã da nossa conferência. Então, pessoal, vou pedir que você tire apenas um minutinho aí, pegue o seu celular, então todo mundo aí com o celular na mão, entra no seu Instagram e primeiro passo, siga @BNI Brasil. Você que ainda não segue o BNI Brasil, segue o BNI Brasil no Instagram, tira aquela foto bonita com o seu cafezinho, né? Você que ainda está comendo aquele omelete também, se quiser mostrar, e a tela de fundo para que a gente possa ver que você está participando, mesmo que seja um sábado, mesmo que da sua casa, você está participando conosco desta conferência online. Então, tira aquele selfie bonito, não esquece de colocar a nossa hashtag da conferência. Qual que é a hashtag da conferência? É CNBNI Brasil 2020. Vamos lá, pessoal, marca o BNI Brasil e a nossa hashtag CNBNI Brasil 2020. E por último, publique essa foto, seja no seu Instagram, né, seja no feed, seja no Stories, e ela estará aparecendo durante o dia de hoje na nossa conferência. Queremos estar próximo de você. E como você pode ver, temos algumas pessoas que já nos enviaram as fotos de ontem, hoje já estão começando a chegar algumas fotos, né? Nós gostaríamos aí que você participasse conosco dessa iniciativa, queremos ver o seu rosto, queremos estar mais próximo de cada um de vocês. Não deixa aí tirar a sua fotinho. Sei que muitos estão acordando, acredito que alguns também estão de pijama, né, assistindo aí da sua cama, pelo horário, mas não deixe de compartilhar conosco aí a sua foto, o seu sorriso, e vamos começar aí o nosso dia da melhor maneira possível, sorrindo para a câmera e recebendo todo tipo de conhecimento e aprendizado nessa manhã. Bom, pessoal, eu gostaria de iniciar essa manhã apresentando o nosso diretor nacional, CEO do BNI Brasil, o Marcos. Bom dia, Marcos, seja muito bem-vindo. É com você.
Bom dia, pessoal. Bom dia, BNI. Good morning, BNI. Agora, de manhã mesmo. Então, estou muito feliz, pessoal, né? Os 2 últimos dias aí foram maravilhosos. Esse hoje também promete muito. E, como é de costume, eu sempre gosto de a gente falar um pouquinho aí dos nossos valores, tá? E hoje, eu gostaria que vocês vissem os nossos valores com outros olhos, né? Se vocês perceberem, nós não falamos durante a reunião em momento de contribuição. Significa o quê? Que para que você seja um melhor networker, você primeiro precisa buscar ajudar o outro, ou seja, você buscar o sucesso do outro primeiro e, naturalmente, as pessoas, né? Ou seja, você se interessa pela pessoa e, naturalmente, ela vai se interessar por você, né? Então, vejam só, né? O Giver's Gain já é você buscar, né? Primeiro ajudar, né? Primeiro você oferecer algo, contribuir e depois você ganha. Construção de relacionamentos. À medida que se você encarar dessa forma, né? Obviamente, se você encarar que eu vou construir mais relacionamentos para entender melhor a necessidade do outro, e aí eu poder ajudar no sentido de os meus contatos, ou o que eu posso, em termos de negócio, que eu posso oferecer. Então, ou seja, primeiro, realmente, construir relacionamentos no sentido de entender melhor, né, o que a outra pessoa precisa. Aprendizado contínuo, quando a gente tem lá as unidades de educação. Na verdade, para pensar, embora, obviamente, isso vem para você, você está aprendendo para você, mas a ideia qual que é? Se você, vamos supor, como líder de uma equipe, você é o melhor presidente da equipe, você entende melhor a metodologia, você apresenta melhor, ou um vice-presidente, ou mesmo lá um anfitrião, ou mesmo um membro na hora de recepcionar um convidado. Ou seja, quanto mais você aprende, né, e o BNI aí na Universidade de BNI oferece muita coisa, você vai estar realmente contribuindo mais, né, para a equipe, mas sempre com essa ótica, né, dos valores no sentido de você, como eu posso ajudar, né, e não simplesmente, eu vou adquirir mais conhecimento para mim apenas. Não, busca sempre seguir os valores com essa ótica. A questão de inovação, você também, né, buscar inovação, às vezes no sentido até, não só no seu negócio, mas buscando boas práticas. A gente sabe, o BNI tem uma metodologia, mas também nós temos as boas práticas, né, que tem muitas equipes. É legal você, por exemplo, visitar uma outra equipe e lá você pode descobrir alguma coisa que está funcionando muito bem lá. Acaba sendo uma inovação, né, que você vai trazer para a sua equipe, por exemplo. Tá? A atitude positiva, não preciso nem dizer, mas é interessante, assim, não é só... Eu costumo sempre dizer, né, semelhante atrai semelhante. Ou seja, se você tem uma atitude positiva, na verdade, não é... É claro que isso vai voltar para você, mas você vai estar também atraindo pessoas, né, ou até fazendo essas pessoas mudarem a sua atitude, porque você está passando algo positivo, tá? Accountability, né? Ou seja, o fato que eu já comentei ontem, que o que melhor reflete o accountability, o que é? É o nosso semáforo, né? O traffic lights, e ele, como eu falei, não é pontuação sua, mas a sua reputação perante a equipe, né? Então, eu também... Olhem, né? Olhem o accountability, a prestação de contas, a autorresponsabilidade, na verdade, não pela ótica sua, obviamente você vai se beneficiar disso, mas como, né, você podendo, seguindo a metodologia, você contribuindo mais, você tendo um traffic lights melhor posicionado, ou seja, uma maior reputação, você está contribuindo com a sua equipe. E, obviamente, reconhecimento, também é um dos nossos valores, importante, já naturalmente, o que é? Reconhecer o outro, né? Então, eu só quis fazer com que vocês olhem, né, para os nossos valores com essa ótica, não do eu, mas do outro, tá bom? E hoje eu quero destacar, né, o nosso valor de atitude positiva, né? Porque ele, como eu falei, ele tem tudo a ver, ele acaba... Você tendo uma atitude positiva, naturalmente, você vai atrair pessoas. É importante, né, a questão do exemplo, né? Você tem que ser um exemplo dentro da sua equipe, né? Principalmente, aí é fato, principalmente os líderes da equipe. Eles têm que ser um exemplo no sentido de poderem ter autoridade para também, vamos dizer assim, cobrar esses valores dos membros, tá bom? E eu quero deixar aqui um vídeo que vai realmente mostrar o que é uma atitude positiva no seu trabalho, né? Vamos lá.
Hey, Joaquin, I'm out here with Apollos Hester, wide receiver for the Patriots. You guys had one heck of a game tonight. How'd it go? I mean, it was going a little back and forth. You guys knew it was going to be a tough dogfight out there, and it was. So what were you guys able to do to come back and win this thing?
All right, well, at first we started slow. We started real slow. And, you know, that's all right. That's okay, because sometimes in life you're going to start slow. That's okay. We told ourselves, hey, we're going to start slow. We're going to keep going fast. We're going to start slow, but we're always going to finish fast. No matter what the score was, we're going to finish hard. we're going to finish fast. Yeah, they had us the first half. I'm not going to lie. They had us. We weren't defeated, but they had us. But it took guts. It took an attitude. That's all it takes. That's all it takes to be successful is an attitude. And that's what our coach told us. He said, hey, it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. You're going to go out there. You're going to battle. You're going to fight. You're going to do it for one. You're going to do it for one another. Do it for each other. You're going to do it for yourself. You're going to do it for us. And you're going to go out with this win. And we believe that. We truly did. And it's an awesome feeling. It's an awesome feeling when you truly believe that you're going to be successful. Regardless of the situation, regardless of the scoreboard, you're going to be successful because you put in all the time, all the effort, all the hard work, and you know that it's going to pay off. And if it doesn't pay off, you continue to give God the glory. If you still lose the game, you can.
Pessoal, acho que vocês estão me ouvindo, né? Então, acho que o Matheus acabou de me passar aqui, ele teve um probleminha lá da internet dele lá, acho que estava saindo de lá, ele já tá entrando aí. Tem a questão de estar ao vivo, né? Dá nisso, né? E sábado, acho que todo mundo entra mais na internet, né? E acaba... Vamos lá. Ele continua pedindo aqui para estar entrando aqui. É que agora tem os testemunhos, né? Agora vocês me ajudem aqui. Na sequência, quem que seria o primeiro aí?
Olá, sou eu.
Então, vamos lá. Acho que já vamos começar, então. Pessoal, então, como a gente vem fazendo desde a quinta-feira, a gente busca estar compartilhando com vocês os testemunhos, né, que tem acontecido aí. A gente veio uma quantidade enorme, a gente teve que escolher, foi maravilhoso, né, fantástico aí. E aí a gente está compartilhando com vocês, né, alguns desses. Então, começa aqui com o Walter Edgar, ele vai compartilhar, então, o testemunho. Vamos lá.
Olá, bom dia, good morning. Excelente aí poder começar o dia com a energia aí lá em cima, representando o litoral de São Paulo, uma região repleta de belezas naturais, povo acolhedor, aqui na Conferência Nacional do BNI. Meu nome é Walter Edgar, sou CEO da Mob Media e somos especialistas em mídia digital, out of home, com serviço de carregador de celular. Sou membro tesoureiro do BNI Elite, da cidade de Santos. Estou embaixador do BNI Atlântico, da cidade do Guarujá. Quero mandar aqui um abraço para todos os membros do BNI ao redor do mundo, mas em especial para os grupos aqui da nossa região. São eles, BNI+, BNI Atlântico, BNI Águia, BNI Target, BNI Shark e o BNI Magno. Alexandre Montovani, nosso diretor de área, e Vanessa Morrese, Alexandre Montovani, nosso diretor executivo, e Vanessa Morrese, nossa diretora de área, nosso reconhecimento pelo excelente trabalho que vem realizando aqui em nossa região. Participei recentemente de uma iniciativa do BNI, que é o Open Mind do BNI Online. Tive a oportunidade de abrir para um grupo de empresários do BNI todas as dificuldades do meu negócio em tempos de pandemia. Interagi com os membros e me senti valorizado. E, para minha surpresa, surgiram mais de 20 ideias super criativas de como melhorar o meu negócio. Em outra oportunidade, em outro dia, participei do Open Mind, mas desta vez como Givers. Pessoal, foi uma experiência incrível, pois, apesar da empresa assistida não ser da minha área de atuação, tive ali a oportunidade de receber várias informações que vou levar para os meus negócios e para a minha vida. O BNI possibilita que empresários possam interagir entre si, construindo e fortalecendo um relacionamento. Quero agradecer à equipe da Mob Media que está comigo ali no dia a dia e faz tudo isso acontecer. Quero agradecer também aos membros do BNI que me ajudaram. Obrigado, BNI Online, pela iniciativa de mudar a forma como o mundo faz negócios. Uma excelente conferência nacional a todos.
Muito obrigado, Walter. Joia, parabéns. Agora eu gostaria de chamar o segundo testemunho, por favor.
Sou eu.
Tá ótimo. Jéssica.
Isso, bom dia a todos. Marcos, você poderia autorizar, por favor, o compartilhamento de tela?
Sim. Jéssica. Na verdade, espera um pouquinho, eu...
Já consegui aqui, pronto.
Pode ir, Jéssica.
Legal.
Bom dia a todos, eu sou a Jéssica Souza, eu sou psicóloga e faço parte do BNI Sotero de Salvador, Bahia. E, primeiramente, eu gostaria de agradecer ao BNI pela oportunidade de trazer o meu testemunho aqui, onde eu vou falar sobre a importância do BNI online. Hoje eu desenvolvo um trabalho que já era totalmente online e vem sendo fortalecido através de ajudar pessoas no emagrecimento sem dietas e também a lidarem com uma fome emocional, principalmente nesse período da quarentena, em que as pessoas estão em casa e realmente com as suas emoções desreguladas por conta desse momento em que a gente vive. Então, eu gostaria de falar a contribuição que o meu grupo, BNI Sotero, é um grupo novo, eu faço parte do BNI desde dezembro de 2019, e aqui em Salvador, na Bahia, o BNI tem crescido de uma forma muito bacana, contribuindo juntos, e isso tem feito uma diferença muito grande para o meu negócio, principalmente através da universidade online, que a gente tem praticado esses valores que o Marcos acabou de falar, né? O conhecimento sobre esses valores tem sido muito importante, a prática deles através de uma ferramenta online que está disponível para a gente o tempo inteiro, para a gente acessar, conhecer mais sobre essa metodologia e aplicar ela no dia a dia através dessas reuniões que agora a gente faz online. É uma possibilidade maravilhosa através dessa inovação de conhecer novos grupos, de estar em contato com outras pessoas, outros empresários que podem trazer ideias para o seu negócio. Isso tem crescido muito. E eu queria agradecer essa oportunidade do BNI de possibilitar estar conectado com outras pessoas, com outros negócios, com outros profissionais que podem enxergar pontos de melhoria, ajudar, contribuir, referenciar, trazer novos clientes. Então, sem dúvida, isso tem trazido um crescimento muito grande para mim, através do meu negócio. Tenho convidado outros profissionais do Brasil inteiro para participar comigo, crescer e referenciá-los através de lives no Instagram. Então, uma possibilidade que talvez não seria acessível se eu não tivesse enxergado a oportunidade através desse momento de visitar outros grupos e de estar acessando essa ferramenta muito importante que é o BNI online, né? Então, eu acho que isso só tem crescido, e esse é o testemunho que eu quero trazer da minha experiência para os outros membros que estão aqui participando, e gostaria desde já de me disponibilizar para todo mundo que está aqui presente, para a gente agendar um a um, conversar, contribuir e crescer juntos. Muito obrigada ao BNI e a todos os nossos diretores, tanto o diretor regional quanto a diretora de área, o Alexandre Mantovani, a Fernanda Prado, e todos os membros do Grupo Sotero, em Salvador, na Bahia. Muito obrigada.
Obrigado, Jéssica. Agora, o Matheus, você está aí?
Vamos lá, pessoal. Agora é com você, Roger.
Bom dia, membros, bom dia, amigos do BNI. Meu nome é Roger Camargo e eu sou sócio proprietário do Grupo Lidman. Nós somos uma empresa de terceirização especializados em limpeza, portaria, jardinagem e facilities em geral daqui do ABC de São Paulo. Hoje eu sou membro do BNI Energia. Iniciei no grupo em agosto de 2019, através do convite de um grande amigo, uma pessoa que hoje é um grande amigo, Alexandre Duda, e fui extremamente bem recebido por esse grupo. E venho aqui hoje dar um testemunho, porque como tudo que é novidade, a gente entra com uma certa desconfiança, né? E acho que isso faz parte de todo mundo quando é convidado e tomar um café com empresários. E essa desconfiança já começa, você fala, poxa, por que um café com empresários, né? E hoje eu venho aqui mais para explicar um pouquinho da minha história dentro do BNI, e acho que isso é válido, e acho que todo mundo já passou por isso. Depois dessa primeira fase de desconfiança, você começa a criar um pouco mais de coragem, começa a ganhar visibilidade, e em pouquíssimo tempo a gente começa a conhecer novos grupos, né? Você primeiro faz um a um com todo mundo, conhece os membros do seu grupo, e em pouquíssimo tempo você quer voar um pouco mais alto, quer se desafiar, né? Foi aí que eu fui conhecer o BNI Energia, o BNI Exponencial, que também é daqui da região do Grande ABC, e isso me proporcionou novos amigos, novos desafios, conhecer novas empresas, e automaticamente eu, em 4 meses, tive o privilégio de agradecer meu primeiro negócio fechado, e creio eu que seja um dos maiores negócios fechados do BNI. Daqui a pouquinho eu vou falar um pouquinho do valor desse negócio fechado. E através de uma referência. E eu queria explicar para vocês como foi essa referência. Tinha uma pessoa nesse grupo, fiz um a um, já o conhecia, já prestava uma consultoria para a gente dentro da minha própria empresa, era meu consultor financeiro. E em pouquíssimo tempo, eu vinha tentando angariar um negócio, e essa pessoa simplesmente conseguiu uma abertura de porta que eu, em 4 anos prospectando um cliente, não conseguia. Apenas após uma reunião, uma credibilidade depositada na nossa empresa, e hoje eu tenho o privilégio aí de reforçar o negócio que nós fechamos em outubro. Então, eu entrei em agosto, em outubro eu agradeci o negócio fechado no BNI Exponencial, de São Bernardo do Campo, aqui da região do Grande ABC, ao Regis Abreu, da Abreu Consultoria, no valor de R$13.144.000. Então, em menos de 4 meses, após um desafio, né, que começou com uma desconfiança, a gente teve o privilégio de fazer esse agradecimento e automaticamente ver que essa metodologia funciona. E recomendo a todos que não se apeguem única e exclusivamente no seu grupo. O BNI não é somente um grupo, né? Isso só foi possível porque eu tive a curiosidade, na verdade, de conhecer outros grupos, conheço outros grupos já, e isso me estimulou a que eu continuasse a conhecer mais grupos, mais pessoas, fazer mais um a um. Então, é mais um testemunho mesmo do que uma apresentação minha pessoal, da minha empresa. Quem quiser conhecer um pouquinho mais, eu teria o maior prazer de fazer um a um com todos vocês. Mas é mais um agradecimento, primeiro, a toda a estrutura do BNI, a nossa diretoria daqui da Regional do ABC, a Sueli, que dá um respaldo muito grande para a gente, está sempre preocupada, mas mais esse testemunho de como funciona essa metodologia. Conheçam novos grupos, conheçam novas pessoas, façam um a um, depende da gente. Não adianta você entrar num grupo do BNI e esperar o negócio. Eu entrei no grupo, agora eu quero fechar negócio. Você não vai fechar negócio sentado, se relacionando apenas com 4 ou 5 pessoas. Você vai fechar negócio se você tiver o interesse de divulgar a sua empresa, de conhecer a empresa das outras pessoas e, principalmente, gerar negócios para as outras pessoas. Gerando negócios para as outras pessoas, você ganha visibilidade, você ganha respeito, e acho que esse é o viés principal do BNI. Acredito muito nisso, sou uma prova viva de que isso funciona, e só tenho essa gratidão imensa ao BNI, ao Regis da Abreu Consultoria. Tem um outro segundo negócio que hoje eu não tenho um ano de BNI ainda, fechei mais um negócio de mais de 5 milhões, agora em março, um pouquinho antes da pandemia. Então, hoje eu já tenho somado mais de 19 milhões de negócios fechados dentro do BNI em menos de um ano. Então, funciona, depende da gente gerar negócio. Não adianta, como eu falei, não adianta você esperar vir negócio se você não gera negócio para o seu colega de BNI. É uma troca, é uma via de mão dupla, e eu acredito e sou testemunha real de que isso funciona. Minha gratidão a todos os membros, todos que estão participando da convenção. É um prazer muito grande estar aqui dando esse testemunho. E quem quiser conhecer um pouquinho mais do Grupo Lidman, eu tenho o maior prazer de fazer uma honra. Tá bom, gente? Obrigado, Matheus, pelo convite. Obrigado, Sueli, pelo convite. E um beijo grande para todo mundo. Gratidão.
Maravilha. Muito obrigado, Roger. Excelente. E agora teremos a Elisa. Elisa, é com você.
Posso compartilhar a minha tela aí?
Claro.
Então, vamos lá. O pessoal, deixa eu botar no modo apresentação. Isso. Meu nome é Elisa Santucci, eu sou diretora consultora do BNI 50 em Ipanema, no Rio de Janeiro. Eu entrei no BNI em 2016 e o meu negócio é a área de propriedade intelectual, marcas e patentes. Em 2019, eu tinha uma conferência no exterior, em Boston, e eu comecei a conversar com Duda Stern, do BNI Atitude, um antigo colega do meu primeiro grupo, sobre a possibilidade de eu contatar membros do BNI de outros países que também fossem estar na conferência, porque eram da mesma área que eu. E o Duda falou, Elisa, você tem que fazer o trabalho de casa, que é buscar no BNI Connect todas as pessoas que poderão estar lá. E aí eu comecei essa trajetória, eu tive um critério, eu não escolhi qualquer um, só dei um clique. Eu escolhi pessoas que tivessem no mínimo 3 anos de BNI, pessoas que tivessem testemunhos publicados nos seus perfis das páginas do BNI Connect e, mais importante que qualquer outra coisa, membros que tivessem feito parte de equipes de liderança, vice-presidente, presidente, secretário tesoureiro, coordenadores, porque eu sei o comprometimento que você tem quando você assume uma posição na equipe de liderança, estendida ou ampliada, né? Ou trio de liderança, melhor dizendo. Bom, com isso, nós acabamos nos reunindo em Boston. Vocês têm uma foto aí, éramos 21, um grupo maravilhoso, todos com crachás, pins dos mais diversos, crachá azul, crachá preto, 5 anos de afiliação, embaixadores. Bom, voltando para o Rio de Janeiro, eu levei essa história para a minha diretora executiva, Adriana Pina, e ela disse, Elisa, que fantástico, vamos fazer um treinamento de como utilizar as ferramentas do BNI Connect, você agora sabe tudo, vamos fazer isso, vou levar para o Marcos Martins. Leva para o Marcos Martins, ele adota a ideia, mas sugere a ela que eu possa ir, quem sabe, para a Polônia, me apresentar no Member Moment, que são 5 minutinhos, para contar para o pessoal, a nível internacional, todo aquele esforço que eu tinha feito e o resultado que eu tinha tido. Manda um teaser para a Sandra, rápido, agora até meio-dia, Sandra consegue me aprovar e tal, e estou eu na Polônia, é a próxima foto que vocês veem aí, palestrando na Polônia, não foi pouca coisa não, com todos esses slides e falando sobre crachás e pins e ribbons e tal, mas a plateia realmente não era de tirar o fôlego, viu, gente? Foi aí, a minha visibilidade foi lá em cima por conta disso. Eis que está na plateia um outro membro do BNI, um alemão chamado Gerhard Wies, com quem eu já tinha marcado uma reunião para a Polônia, só que ele não podia estar em Boston, e aí combinamos de nos encontrar na Polônia. Só que a minha reunião com ele era no dia seguinte da minha apresentação. Então, quando eu cheguei na reunião com ele, ele já veio assim, mas o quê? Eu estou com a celebridade da Polônia, da conferência. Então, assim, o que eu tinha de visibilidade, a credibilidade foi lá em cima, só podia resultar o quê, gente? Referência, é o VCR. Bom, quando ele voltou para a Alemanha, ele viu uma oportunidade de negócio para mim, ele me passou um negócio no valor de $20 mil, eu até estou achando muito, mas comparado à referência do Roger, agora até eu perdi a noção, né, Roger? Mas, enfim, foi uma referência bem significativa, porque o valor do dólar hoje está estourando, E mais importante do que isso foi a confiança que eu ganhei dele. É um cara que me passou uma referência de um cliente dele alemão, que aqui no Brasil tratava com o meu maior concorrente para uma ação judicial que demanda uma responsabilidade muito grande na minha área. Então, foi um total caso de sucesso. Com isso, eu quero dizer a vocês o quê? Qual é a minha mensagem aqui? Ora, é uma cadeia de eventos. Eu fiz um treinamento, encontrei o pessoal em Boston, revelei para a Adriana Pina, que levou o Marcos Martins, que levou a Sandra, que para no Gert. Então, assim, é uma cadeia de eventos que se iniciou com uma pequena ação, que me levou a 4 horas me dedicando ali ao BNI Connect. Então, assim, não subestimem a ferramenta que é o BNI Connect, é uma ferramenta de networking muito poderosa, e às vezes a gente fica ali na reunião, no 1 a 1, e o BNI tem um mundo para ser explorado. Então, essa era a minha mensagem para vocês, acabou o meu tempo. Muito obrigada a todos.
Maravilha. Muito obrigado, Elisa. Obrigado, Walter. Obrigado, Jéssica. Obrigado, Roger. Obrigado, Elisa. São realmente histórias de sucesso como a de vocês, que nos inspiram a cada dia mais, né? A poder ajudar pessoas, a poder impactar a sociedade que a gente vive e junto continuarmos a mudar a forma realmente como o mundo faz negócios. Pessoal, eu tenho alguns anúncios para fazer rapidamente. Conforme eu falei ontem e no primeiro dia, estou anunciando hoje pela última vez o Speed Networking, e você não quer ficar de fora desse evento. Temos apenas 500 vagas. Eu tenho certeza que após esse slide, essas vagas irão se esgotar. Temos bem poucas, então não fique fora dessa primeira edição, certo? Aproveite essa oportunidade para conhecer outras pessoas, para trabalhar a sua visibilidade, né? Para poder conhecer, para poder criar laços de confiança, quem sabe futuramente fechar negócios, mas aproveite, não fique fora dessa primeira edição do nosso Speed Networking.
Matheus.
Oi, Marcos.
Não, eu acho que você não enfatizou como deveria. Das 500 vagas, 401 já estão ocupadas. Só tem 99, né? Você tem que enfatizar isso para eles.
Mas, Marcos, essas 99 eram antes de eu anunciar há 15 segundos atrás. Eu tenho certeza que elas já se esgotaram agora. O QR Code, 20 segundos na tela, não há vaga que segure. Então, esgotou, pessoal. Tenho certeza que já esgotou. Maravilha. Eu tenho um outro anúncio também, pessoal. Até o próprio Marcos está aqui presente. E é o livro Quem Está em Sua Sala. É um livro do Dr. Ivan, também junto com o nosso CEO, com o Marcos, e é realmente uma leitura espetacular, né? Existe aquela famosa frase que diz que você é a média das 5 pessoas com quem você mais convive, né? Então, realmente, essa leitura nos leva a refletir quem são as pessoas que estamos trazendo não só para a nossa sala, não só para o nosso convívio, mas para a nossa vida, para que a gente possa ser pessoas melhores a cada dia. Então, se você quiser adquirir esse livro, pegue o seu celular e simplesmente escaneie esse QR Code e o livro chegará na sua casa. Você que está nos assistindo também nessa manhã, ainda não faz parte do BNI, ainda não faz parte da maior organização de referências de negócios do mundo, não fique fora. Assim como ouvimos do Walter, da Jéssica, do Roger, da Elisa e de outros mais de 7.300 empresários no Brasil, venha fazer parte da família BNI. Escaneie também esse QR Code e receba no seu smartphone mais informações de como visitar uma equipe e fazer parte da família BNI. Bom, um anúncio também importante para dizer agora. Vamos ter o nosso palestrante internacional, tá? Antes disso, gostaria que vocês continuassem também mandando as fotos de vocês, que vamos estar mostrando aí durante a conferência com a hashtag BNI Brasil 2020. Então, continuem mandando a sua foto. E vamos dividir agora, vamos continuar aqui nessa transmissão em inglês. Para você que precisa, né, uma tradução simultânea, eu vou pedir para que você também escaneie, tá, o seu QR Code e entre diretamente no QR Code que está na tela, que vai te levar para uma sala onde teremos a tradução simultânea para o português, tá? Para quem está assistindo no YouTube, também vai ser em inglês, então se você precisa de tradução, por favor, escaneie esse QR Code, tá? Assim que finalizar a palestra do Yashi, todos voltamos aqui à sala original, tá? Então, eu vou trazer depois, vou disponibilizar para vocês o QR Code para que vocês venham até a sala original. Se você não quiser vir até a sala original, simplesmente se conecte ao nosso canal no YouTube, tá? TV BNI Brasil. Lá já vai estar transmitindo, já estará com a transmissão original, então você vai poder voltar e aí vamos para a segunda etapa da nossa programação de hoje, que é a premiação. Então, pessoal, está na tela o QR Code para quem precisa de uma tradução simultânea e vou passar a palavra para o Marcos para que ele possa apresentar nessa manhã o nosso palestrante internacional.
Ok. Muito bom, Matheus. Realmente é uma honra eu apresentar o Yash, né? A gente já se conhece há algum tempo, mas surgiu agora na convenção global lá na Polônia. A gente conversou em mais detalhes e surgiu essa grande oportunidade aí, embora a gente sabe que era a ideia que ele estivesse presente aqui, esse era o planejado, mas em função aí de toda essa situação a gente não conseguiu. Mas tudo bem, o Yash está aí com a gente e eu vou apresentá-lo, fazer uma breve apresentação. Yash é um empreendedor, líder, palestrante e guia. Ele é uma autoridade atualmente no mundo em psicologia de liderança. Também é reconhecido como um dos oradores mais procurados da Índia. Formado em neurociência e economia pela Universidade da Califórnia, em Los Angeles, Estados Unidos, Yash começou a explorar suas diversas habilidades desde cedo. Foi reconhecido como um ícone corporativo na Índia pelo Economic Times, pela Who is Who of the Business World, pela Unified Brands, e também é diretor executivo BNI da maior região da Índia, com mais de 2.500 membros. Também recebeu o prêmio de Top Speaker em uma convenção global de palestrantes realizada em Tallinn, Estônia, em agosto de 2018. Então, é com você, Yash Vassan. It is your turn, Yash.
Bom dia, BNI. Is that correct?
Yes.
Bom dia, everyone. Thank you, Marcos. This is an absolute pleasure. But you know, before we got anywhere, I wanted to make sure we're in the right mood. So for a little bit.
Mas só que a profissão das minas é...
Abusadamente ela vai batendo, bum, bum, ela vai sentando, bum, ela vai quicando, bum, 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 ela vai batendo, bum, bum, ela vai quicando, bum, ela vai sentando, bum, bum, abusado.
All right, so good morning, Brazil, and thank you, Marcos, for having me. I hope that gets us a little bit in the groove, because today is going to be just about that. And I'm very happy that I'm able to be with you today from here, and I'm also a little bit sad that I'm not able to be with you in person. So this was supposed to be a 7-day thing where we could meet, and I absolutely was looking forward to being in Brazil, because it is absolutely one of my favorite countries. I've been there, and one of my favorite places in Brazil is Arraial de Cabo, where I like to go scuba diving, and I learned how to surf on Baja Beach in Rio. So I've had quite a journey with Brazil, and today, with all the love that Marcos has given me, I want to take you through a few things that I think will really put life into perspective for all of us here on the group right now. So before I even begin, just so I know that you're understanding me and that we're all, at least the translator is doing what they're supposed to be doing, I have a question. I have a question for all of you. You know, each one of us is a part of different communities. Some of us are part of the Christian community, the Muslim community, the Hindu community, several other small communities or big communities that we're a part of. But there's been one, and all communities are important, but at least over the past 3 months or 2 months since the coronavirus hit, one community has been the most active and supportive to all of us on a weekly basis, week after week after week, in all our lives. Can you tell me what that community is? Anyone? What's been the most active community in your life? Tell me on the chat box. Chat box, everyone. Absolutely, BNI. Thank you, Alex, Alexander, Andrea, Eduardo. BNI, and it's been incredible. It's been incredible that at a time when the world thought everything has stopped, we've been working 24 hours. You know, 1,500 temples shut down in India, where I am. 1,500 temples. But BNI, we've been going 24 hours, and that tells you the kind of spirit that's kept us together. And today, I wish to celebrate that spirit and take any questions that you have, because it's one of those days today. I feel the mood, and we're gonna have fun with it. So here's a question to all of you as we begin, and I want to get right to it. How many of you? So I love dogs, and I have 3 dogs now, and one of my dogs, who's now older, he's about 10 years old. His name is Zeus. But before I tell you about him, how many of you are dog owners? Anyone with dogs? Tell me on the chat box. You like dogs or you own a dog? Alyssa, okay, awesome. Sephora, no. Ricardo has a dog, okay, great. So people who like, yeah, Shih Tzu, my wife has a Shih Tzu, awesome. Okay, so my dog, his name is Zeus, and he's a Siberian Husky. And yeah, so thanks guys. Thank you, Wilson, nice to see you. Awesome. So, you know, I love dogs, and this one dog of mine, he's a Siberian Husky, his name is Zeus, and he and I have a very special connect. But just like the kind of person I am, because of how life has been, I keep quite busy, and I wake up at 4 a.m. and I'm at work till 8, 9 p.m. and I have long, long days. And we have this special bond with me and my dog where he doesn't like to be touched a lot. So we have this deal where if I go home early, let's say I got home and I'm having my supper at about 6:30, 7 p.m., then when I'm eating outside in my garden, in my veranda, my dog is just around me, right? I don't have to touch him, I don't have to pet him, but he's just in my presence. So this one day I'm outside, I'm eating my salad and soup, and this guy is running around across me, and all of a sudden I hear this rustling in the bush in my garden. And if you own a dog, you know that when you hear this violent rustling in the bushes, he is up to no good. You know he is doing something he should not be doing. So I put my food aside, I stand up, and I go find my dog. Oh, awesome! Someone's dog is attending the conference. I love it. So I go to look at what he's doing. So I run around and I go to the bush where he is, where his head is inside the bush. I don't see what he has, but he's violently shaking his head. And I was just shocked. So I started yelling out his name, and he came out and he started running in the opposite direction. So I had to chase him. I started running after him, and finally he turns around. Just before I tell you this, I forgot I should tell you a backstory. I live in this beautiful neighborhood, very nice neighborhood. And right next to me, we share the same wall, is a lovely couple. And this couple is awesome, and they're a young couple, and they have 2 beautiful young kids. And the youngest son, he's about 7, 8 years old. He loves animals too. And he has a beautiful pet bunny rabbit. Anyways, coming back to my story, my dog Zeus, he turns around and I look at him, and guess what? In his mouth is this very, very used to be cute bunny rabbit. My neighbor's rabbit is in its mouth, and I freak out because I didn't know if I should feel sad, angry. I mean, he's a dog. I didn't know how to react, and all I could do is start shouting, and he wouldn't drop it. He kept running around. I finally grabbed him, got on top of him, and I had to pull the rabbit out of his mouth. And now I'm standing there with a rabbit in my hand who is very, very pretty, but also very, very dead. And I'm stuck with a dead rabbit. And I didn't know what to do. It was covered in a lot of mud, and it was covered in a lot of blood, and it was just bad. It was a horrific sight. And I knew the right thing to do was take the rabbit and cross across and go speak to my neighbors and tell them what had happened. So I took the rabbit in my hand, and I was so sad. I opened my gate, go to my neighbor's gate. I knock on the door. I'm about to knock on the door, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't face it, and it was just horrible. I said, this is going to lead to a lot of fighting and a lot of bad things. I can't do this. I'll have to find a better way. So I turned around quickly, came back to my home, went straight to the kitchen, and I started washing the rabbit. So I gave the rabbit a bath. I put soap on it. I cleaned off all the mud. I cleaned off all the blood. And now I had this fluffy bunny rabbit with me. And as soon as it turned 11 p.m. at night, the lights went off in my neighbor's home. So I crossed around, went to my neighbors. The cage is right outside their main door. I opened the cage. I put the rabbit in and I walked away. Natural death. Why do they need to know that it was murdered, right? I couldn't do it. So I put the rabbit back in the cage. I came back to my home. I knew it was the wrong thing to do, but I did it. And I go back to my room. I go to sleep. And next day morning, 5 a.m., about 5:30, I wake up. I come outside and I'm sitting outside my home wearing my shoes. I'm about to go for a run or go work out or something. And I suddenly hear this loud scream, like shriek from the lady next door, the mother. And there was a scream. And I said, oh my God, I knew what had happened, but I had to play as if I had no idea. So now I had to make this very sad face. And I went up to them like an innocent boy. I opened the gate, go next door, walk towards the lady, and she's holding this rabbit in her hands. And I went up to her and I said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. What happened? And she doesn't say anything. She looks up at me and I say, well, it looks like it's dead. And she says, Yash, of course it's dead. We buried it last night, but it came back. It came back. And I said, oh my God, man. And so many of us, and this is of course a legend, right? The story I told you, it has happened, something similar, but the entire story is a legend. And the truth is, so many of us have these rabbits that we don't face. We don't face them. And today, I want us to really, really face these rabbits, pull them out of the bunny hat, because this coronavirus isn't the most normal situation. And if you take a look at it, I'm sure you've seen this before, at least some of you have. If you look at the Chinese word for crisis, the Chinese word for crisis in itself is a word that's called Wei Ji. Wei Ji. Wei means danger and Ji meaning opportunity. And today, the word in itself tells you that every crisis is a mixture of danger and opportunity, because as I said, the one continuous community that has kept us engaged is BNI. And today, with everything that we've done, I just want to say, with over 2,000 people listening into the national conference, if this is not an opportunity, then God knows what this is. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that Marcos and the team and everyone is being able to pull this off. And if you still don't believe me, I really want to drive the point home, because honestly, I don't share this very often, but here's a line that politicians use in the field, and they say, never let a good crisis go to waste. Never let a good crisis go to waste. And today the question is going to be about, are we going to continue to focus on the danger, or are we going to focus on the opportunity? Because that's all that makes a difference. 90% of all billionaires that were made in the world were made during a recession, not when the market was up, but when the market was down. That's when the opportunities come out. And I know as Brazilians, we're fun-loving, dynamic, absolutely energetic people. And today is about this opportunity. So to give you a little bit of an idea, I know Marcos read out a long resume or a bio for me, but one of the things that I've loved doing over the past 7 years is BNI. And let me show you. So my regions in India are called Ahmedabad and Baroda, 2 regions. And it's not a full country, right? These are just, I'm an executive director with these 2 regions. And here's what happened so in India for the past 3 months, we have been completely, totally locked down, right? I think Brazil, Marcos, is also locked down. Is that correct? Yeah. So Brazil, similar situation here, because we have so many people. And even during the lockdown, when the whole world was saying, oh my God, I'm not even going to wear pants, I'm not going to shower, I'm not going to shave, my life is a mess. Here's what we did. We had 1,792 visitors. This is figures from March 1st to the 28th of May. Okay, March 1st to the 28th of May. We added 318 new members. 2,440 referrals were passed that generated into 24.2 million euros in business done. And the renewal percentage, or the retention percentage would be a better figure, is 93.4% for those 3 months. Isn't that insane? I mean, ask yourselves, it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing because when the world says not possible, we're saying, hey, look, possible more than ever. possible more than ever. And today I'm not here to talk to you about BNI. Take it as good or bad. I will give you a few references from BNI, but would you be okay if I spoke to you business person to business person? Is that better? Everyone, tell me on the chat box. I can't see you, so this is the way. Yeah, okay. So no, not too much BNI stuff, but just business person to business person engagement, because today, I think as business owners, we have a lot to digest and deal with. And the role of a leader right now is to interpret all of the information that's coming to us and relate it to the people that follow or people that are in your team. So here's just our figures of how the regions have looked from 2014 to 2020. Right. So today we have 2,619 members, and you saw the growth just during the lockdown. And I show you this because I want to tell you what is possible if we do just the basics. But the basics to me is about the mind, and it's about the individual. And I know there are executive directors and director consultants, ambassadors, etc. on this call today, and you have an awesome team in Brazil. And this is what's possible if the 3 lessons that I want to get out today make sense to you. So while I get to that, once, I don't know if Marcos ever shared the story with you, but Marcos, you remember we had the opportunity to be in Brazil about 2 years ago. In Las Vegas about 2 years ago. So we were in Las Vegas for a BNI national directors meet and stuff like that. And we were there and we were attending this convention called the IFA, and International Franchise Association. And there was this massive stage at the, was it the MGM Grand or one of the hotels in Las Vegas? And this massive stage, and all of us are going in, and all the BNI, NDs, EDs, we're sitting on our tables with our red jackets. And all of a sudden, I realized that, so everyone in the franchising world was there, right? From your McDonald's to your Starbucks to every important franchise in the world was represented. And of course, BNI was too. And now it was really off for us because I didn't expect this. I don't know if Marcos did, but all of a sudden BNI was recognized. And BNI was recognized for having one of the greatest return on investments for its membership globally. Greatest return on investments to its members globally. Does anyone in Brazil know the global average return on investment for a BNI membership? Any guesses? What do you think it is? 5%, 10%, 12%? What do you think it is? Anyone? Just tell me on the chat box. Just guess. That means you invested $1,000, you get back how much, right? That's your return on investment at the end of the year. Yeah, actually, you guys are getting close. 200%, 500%. You're right, because it's not in the percentage. The answer is in times. X. How many times? 2 times? 5, 10 times? No, a little bit more, Carlos. Little bit more, un poco. No, not 3 more. We're close, Ricardo. The global return on investment of a BNI membership is 97x. 97x. And people ask us, why BNI? There is no investment in the world, and I'm convinced beyond belief, there's no investment in the world that gives us a return of 97x apart from an investment in our relationships. Guys, would you agree? I mean, the most beautiful things in our life have been the most random things that happened because of some random person we met at some random time on some random boat that changed our life. Yes or no? Every time. Every time. And our relationships are an investment that we can't really calculate. For instance, Beatrice, have you ever calculated the return on investment on the relationship with your mother, with your father, with your husband, with your wife, with your kids? And some of you are sitting there thinking, no, who the hell does that? You can't calculate that. But the truth is, if you did, you'd value it more, because the return on a relationship, corona or no corona, is extraordinary, And one of the greatest gifts that I've gotten out of BNI, and I've gotten out of all the relationships that I've had the opportunity to build, has been the opportunity to do what I really love, which is I get to travel the world. I've spoken in, to give you an idea, last year I spoke in about 11 countries at different events, large events, to over 30,000 people at live events. And it's something that I would do rather than anything else in the world. And out of all of my travels, I've learned 3 lessons that I think shaped my life and made me who I am. And I want to share those 3 stories with you, or 3 lessons with you, which I think you will stick with them. So, which will stay with you for the rest of your lives. Let me break them up for you. The first lesson was a lesson I learned while I was becoming a better storyteller at this event in Estonia. And I want to tell you this lesson in the form of a story. And this is one of my favorites. So here we go. Once upon a time, there was a gambler. And this gambler was, he was a great guy and he loved to gamble, and he died. And he died, and it was unfortunate that he didn't know he had died, but he passed on to his afterlife. And as he passed on to his afterlife, he opened his eyes and he found himself in a beautiful stretch limousine. Right? He opens his eyes and he's in this stretch limo, and he's like, oh my God, this is awesome. Where am I? And he looks to the left and he sees 2 bottles of champagne. One of them's open and the champagne's coming out, and there's a glass right next to it. And he says, wow, this is a party and it's getting started. This is awesome. And he looks to the other side of the limo. This is a long stretch limo. He looks to the other side and he sees 3 of the most gorgeous women dressed in the most gorgeous clothes that he's ever seen in his life. And he is excited. Now, and they must be Brazilian, right? He's excited. He has the champagne bottles, he has these, and he says, where the hell am I? So he opens up his windows and he looks outside and he finds himself in the middle of Las Vegas, his favorite city in the world, outside his favorite casino, the Bellagio. And he sees himself right there and he says, oh my God, this is awesome. So he comes out of the car, champagne bottle in one hand, 3 women in another, and he walks into the casino. And as he goes into the casino, he says, oh my God, I don't know if I have any money. So he takes out, yeah, Brazilian for sure, right, Lily? And he takes out and he checks his pockets. He says, I don't know if I have any cash. And he checks his pockets and he has thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash. He's excited. So he takes out $100,000 and gives it down on the blackjack table, his favorite game. And his first bet, a single token, $100,000 on the blackjack table. And guess what happened? Blackjack, he won. Second bet, blackjack, he wins. Third bet, blackjack, he wins. Fifth bet, blackjack, he wins. 10th bet, he wins. 100th bet, he wins. 300th bet, he wins. 400th bet, he wins. 499th bet, blackjack, he wins. 500th bet, blackjack, he wins. And he's so frustrated by winning that he looks up to God and he says, oh my God, is this heaven? And God looks down and says, no, son, this is hell. And some of you smile, but I really want you to understand this. Tell me, if you were reading a book, and nothing bad happened in chapter 1, would you go to chapter 2 of that book? Tell me. You're reading a book, nothing bad happens in chapter 1. Do you go to chapter 2? Well, let's say you don't read, but you watch Netflix. Let's say you're watching Netflix and nobody dies in the first episode. Do you watch the second episode? Absolutely not. Have you seen the Game of Thrones? I mean, you need people dying left, right, and center. And the greatest lesson in my life was that a story is only as good as the challenges that are faced in it. A story is only as good as the challenges in it. So if I came here and I told you a story about a gambler who had everything in the world and he kept winning, you would say, Yash, never come back again. That's the worst story I've heard in my life. Because no one, or there is no story without a challenge that's popular, that actually adds up to anything. The greater the challenge, the greater the victory. The greater the challenge, the greater the story. Tell me, guys, do you think the Avengers Endgame would have been an awesome movie if Thanos was not a badass villain? Do you think the Avengers would have been anything without Thanos? Nothing. It'd be a green big man and a man in an iron suit running around like an idiot. The Avengers was watched by the most watched movie in the whole world because Thanos was extremely bad. A story is only as good as the challenges that are faced in it. Because, guys, it's funny. We came in this world for drama. And when we have too much drama, we say, oh my God, my life is full of drama. And when we don't have drama, we say, oh, my life is boring. It's a funny thing. In fact, you know what? Tell me this. How many of you like surprises? Anyone? Lily, Maria, Erica, you like surprises? Andrea, yeah, sure. Nonsense. You guys are lying. You're liars, because the surprises You like the things you like, you call surprises. The things you don't like, you call problems. Yes or no? Absolute truth. Those things that you like, oh, surprise. The things that you don't like, problems. But today, guys, today, the coronavirus, the pandemic has given us the gift of Thanos. He's given us the gift of Thanos because now we have the opportunity to become the Avengers, because the Avengers are only as good as Thanos. A story is only as good as the challenges that are faced in it. And I know, I don't even need to ask you, I know that each one of you has an incredible story to tell. Each one of you does. Each one of you has seen the ups and downs of life and you've come out of it. In fact, tell me, guys, haven't you all faced, I mean, you know it, you know the kind of crap you faced out there. You faced it and you've come out of it and become who you are today. Yes or no? You faced an incredible challenge. What do you say? Absolutely. Absolutely. And my question to you is, what's your story? What's your story? Because remember, guys, a great product doesn't always sell. A great company doesn't always sell. A great service doesn't always sell, but a great story always sells. But going beyond that, I think about, let's say 5 years from now, I don't know, maybe 10 years from now, or maybe a year from now, we're going to be sitting at a bar or in a dining table, sitting around, or actually, let's say about 15 years from now, you're sitting with your children who weren't born then, and you're going to be sitting around the dining table and they'll ask you a story and you will say, you know, I remember the time of the coronavirus when I was alive and the entire world was locked down. You'll be telling them this story. My only question is, what is that story going to look like? Is it going to be a tragedy? Is it going to be a story of valor, of courage, of victory? What is that story going to be? Because today we have the opportunity to make that story. We have the opportunity to really change the curve around, because when the world shakes up, that's when new leaders come up, new businesses come up. People who are underdogs become supreme. People who are supreme become underdogs. This is the change of the new world order. What is your story going to be? And I wish for you to really, after this session, think about it. And I want you to actually write down your story. And I want you to share it. Not just share it like on a microphone, but share it in everything that you are, in the way you dress, in the way your brand looks, in the way your logo looks, in the way you communicate, in the way your relationships are, in everything. That's a translation of your story. And remember, the greater the challenge, the greater the story. And we've been given the greatest gift, which is a big fat challenge. The second lesson that I learned was funny. I learned it at a time when, this is about 4 years ago, I was invited to, so I have some really good friends around the world. And as I said, I travel at least, I don't know, 150 days a year. And I get to go scuba diving and skydiving, and I get to go surfing at some incredible places around the world. And this one time I was invited to a special thing by this guy called Tony Robbins in Fiji. So I'm in Fiji and we're surrounded by about, I don't know, 45 people maybe. And we're there and we're part of this little group. It's very small for Tony's standards. And we're sitting there and they asked us to fill out a form, okay, in the middle of the seminar. We said, okay, great. So we filled out the form, and the last question in the form was, how much do you make? Like, what is your net income in your bank account at the end of every year? This is a weird question. Who asks people how much you make? And they asked us this question and people wrote it down. You know, when it got even crazier is when they told us, okay, now share. Now share it with everyone. We said, okay. And everyone started sharing it. Everyone started sharing it. And at that point, it blew me away, because the average income in the room that I was sitting in, net per year after taxes, was $12 million. $12 million. Net of everything, the average income was $12 million US. And I said, well, you know, I wasn't just impressed with the figure, but what blew me away was, I can tell you that the average age of the girls there, the women there, was about maybe 45. And not one of them looked over 26 years old. Each one had something that they lived for. Each one took about 3 months off minimum a year. The amount of time they spent with the people they love, the amount of time they spent with their kids, with their wives, with their parents, with their hobbies, with the things that they did, they were happy. And they still netted that money. And my question simply was, why not me? Because I wasn't living that at that time. Why not me? And I looked for this answer, and I've looked for it for a while now, because I've seen people around the world. I've studied billionaires. I have friends who are extremely successful. And the one thing that stood out, and that's the difference between those that make it and those that don't, and please take this home with you, is I think the one reason why we don't achieve and become who we absolutely know we are meant to be is one simple thing that I call rules. Can anyone tell me what a rule is? What do you think is a rule? Chat box. A rule. Yeah, Maria, good question. A rule. No. A rule is a, let me type it for you. A rule is a bullshit rule. A rule is a bullshit rule. And all of us in our lives are surrounded by bullshit rules. And I know this is BNI, but you told me, hey, promise, we're talking business person to business person. And a rule is a bullshit rule, which means all of us have these nonsensical rules in our head because of which we can't survive. And let me give you an example, right? So you know what yours are, I'll tell you mine. But I'm going to tell you something personal. I know this is streaming live. Anyway, so my dad, my father and I, we're close, and we're both businessmen, and we do good work. And my father's a great guy. We're very close at home, but of course we get into our fights at work, right? We get into disagreements. And one of the things, yeah, you can't translate it. One of the problems where my dad and I fight about is that he believes, because of his years of success, that if you are a successful businessman, or let me repeat, if you want to be a successful business person or entrepreneur, you must be in the office till 11 p.m. at night. Or vice versa. If you are in the office at 11 p.m. at night, then you will be a successful business person. Now, guys, so that means that even when his work is done, he will not go home. He'll sit and find something to do, because he thinks the way to be successful is to just be at work 24 hours. Tell me, guys, rule or not a rule? Rule, absolute rule. And all of us have these weird little rules. I'll tell you one, I moonlight as an investor. So if some of you have companies and you're looking to do well, do reach out to me. I'd love to see your decks. But one of my partners that I invest with, and we were new in our relationship at that time. And anyways, we were looking at several companies, and there was this one company which we really, really liked. I mean, the deck looked good, the financials were good, and I thought that business was very, very promising. And the last leg for us is always to meet the founder, right? To meet the man behind, or the girl behind the organization. So we finally scheduled a meeting in a city called Bombay. We flew there and we had a meeting with the founder of this company. So we go in, and I remember walking in, and as soon as I go in, I look at this guy, and he's ripped, like he's well built. He keeps himself fit, and he obviously works out a lot, right? Like biceps jutting out, his pecs are out, six pack. You could see that he was a fit guy, and he was very, very good. To cut a long story short, at the end of that discussion, I was impressed. I said, wow, this guy's very good. He knows his stuff, solid company, is healthy. I want to do business with him. So I came out of the room with my partner, and I looked at him and I said, man, wasn't he good? My partner says, no way, we can't invest in him. I said, why? He said, well, look, how is he going to make money? He spends most of his time in the gym. He is too fit to be rich. That's what he said. He is too fit to be rich. And guess what, by the way, guys? Rule or not a rule? First, tell me that. Is this a rule? Yeah, that's a bullshit rule, because yeah, too fit to be rich is a rule. I have never met, well, not never, but I have rarely met an unfit billionaire. Rarely. They always take care of themselves. And the fittest guys I found to be the wealthiest. The truth is, guess what? I'm never going to tell you my partner's name now, but guess what my partner is? Do you think he's fit? No. No, he's about, I don't know, 40 kilos, 50 kilos overweight. He has a belly that big. He's not fit, because your rules define what your life becomes. And our rules can range from, oh, I'm a woman, I can't do this. Oh, I'm from Brazil, I can't do this. Oh, I'm from India, no, I can't. Oh my God, coronavirus. Oh, I'm in this. You have all of these rules that keep you tapped. The only funny thing is your rules are just in your head. Your rules are yours. The funny thing about rules, like the funny thing about bullshit rules, is that they stem from your belief system. And I want to spend a couple of minutes here. It wasn't something I was going to tell you, but I love the responses you're giving me. So I will pour my heart out. Is look, the difficulty in identifying a rule, because I know in the Q&A you're going to ask me how to identify a rule. I will tell you. But I'll tell you the science behind it is they stem from beliefs, and beliefs by nature are things that you don't question. Okay. For example, I don't know if this translates in Portuguese, but can someone finish this sentence for me? An apple a day keeps the
Doctor away.
Doctor away, right? Alyssa, who told you? Did you ever Google it? Guys, you all tell me, now tell me, did you ever Google it? Did you ever ask a doctor? Did you ever check an encyclopedia? Did you do some research on it? No. No. Blindly, all of you in Brazil are telling me that an apple a day keeps a doctor away, because that's what I call a global belief. It's a global belief. It's from your grandmom, and grandmoms are always right. I know, Frank, I feel you, but the truth is, it's a global belief. Something that we never question is a belief. For example, let me give you another one. You know, this one's funny, and I think you'll give me the right answer. Is back in the day when they were making keyboards, right? They were making keyboards. They made this, you know, they made it QWERTY, right? They made this keyboard. Can someone tell me why the keyboard is designed in this format, QWERTY? Why? Why do you think? Because it makes you? Anyone? I love this guy. Who is it? Tarcisio. I hope that's how you say her name. Sorry if I messed it up. Yeah, so most people, Erica, would believe that they made it like this. They made it QWERTY because they wanted you to be faster, right? Because it's more convenient. It's better that way. But the truth is, they made the keyboard like this so that you would become slower, so that your typing speed would be slower and you would not make mistakes on a typewriter, so that you don't have to go and use whiteout. Now, this is a belief. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely, Tarcisio. You're right. Because a belief is something you never question. And I wish I was there with you and I could look into each one of your eyes. And, you know, I'm not the world's best at anything, but I am the world's best at looking into your eyes and telling you what's going on there. And the truth is, the extent of the rules that govern our lives are unbelievable. And if we're able to just identify them as bullshit rules, we're able to break free. And why not each one of us makes $10 million a year net, spends 3 hours with the people, 3 months with the people we love, and we get to do something that we absolutely love and live an extraordinary life. Because I only talk to people that are hungry. And this world is today about hunger. Not hunger like I'm going to take your food away, but hunger like I'm going to grow my food. I'm going to make it. How many of you are hungry for more, to do more, to be more, to help more, to give more? How many of you are hungry? Anyone? Where'd you go? Only Erica. Yeah, we're hungry. And the thing that's stopping you from really taking and getting and wanting and being who you are your rules. And remember those and question yourself and break them. Because, you know, the third lesson that I learned was very pivotal in how I thought. And I know this question has come to a lot of you. Has anyone read this book by Simon Sinek called, what's it called? What's in Your Why? Or it's all about Start with the Why. Has anyone read this book? Start with the Why. Mateusz says yes. Start with the Why. Yeah. Good book. You guys like it? You know, this came about when I was on stage in front of about, I don't know, 300 people, and I was talking. And sometimes, and most of the times, I don't have a plan. I just feel the audience and I'm going. And this one time I'm asking them, do you like this book? And I said, bullshit, the book is nonsense. Start with the why. And I didn't mean it that Simon Sinek's bad or the book is bad. What I meant was the concept of starting with your why is overrated. You know, because if you look around, if you look at all these like videos on Facebook and they ask you questions, what's your why, Adamir? What's your why, Ronaldo? I ask you these, oh, there's a Ronaldo, awesome. Do we have a Ronaldo? I would love to meet one from Brazil. But look, the question is, if you ask someone, what is your why, over and over, let's say I came to you and I said, what's your why? Ronaldo, what's your why? Adamir, what's your why? And let's say you're in the insurance business and I say, what's your why? You're going to come up to me and say, well, because, you know, insurance is good or it makes money. And then I say, no, what's your why? And you're going to dig deeper and dig deeper. And finally, no matter who you are, you can only give me two answers. Answer number one is because it is satisfying. Answer number two is because I want to help people and change the world. These are the two answers. Guys, agreed? Yes or no? When someone really keeps asking you the why, especially in a public forum, the answer is going to be simple. Answer is going to be simple. Yeah, because I want to help people. I want to change the world, because it sounds good, but it's also nonsense. You know, I've interviewed some of the best people in the world, but also some of the best BNI members in the world, BNI directors in the world. And when I ask them, hey, why are you a DC for BNI? Why are you a DC for BNI Rio? Why? And the best people have always looked at me and said, Yash, I don't know why. I really don't know why, but I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't have an answer to it. Why the hell am I here? Why am I here on Zoom at a day like today was incredible. I've been working for like 10 hours already because there's some project going on. But I'm here because there is nothing more in the world that I would rather be doing than talking to you. And this is why I know I will be effective, because you have given me your love and respect by giving me 90 minutes, 60 minutes of your life. That's unbelievable. That means I will give you everything that I have. That's how my brain works. The best answer to your why is, I don't know, but because it is a lot of fun. A lot of fun. That's your answer. Because a lot of times you get confused about being happy, right? Happiness is not the same as fun. Happiness is something that you can convince yourself. I mean, you're in a bad relationship, you know, and you convince yourself that this is what happiness looks like, and you tell people you're happy. Happiness can be faked, but fun is visceral. Fun is something you can see in your body. Fun is something you can feel. If you're having fun right now, you'll feel it. I'm having fun, you'll feel it. If I'm bored, I'm just pretending to be happy with a smile on my face. It's fake. But if you're having fun, you cannot fake it. It's real, it's there, it's visceral. And fun is the greatest compass that you can have. Because, you know, we've had this weird, and I don't want to get into a lot of philosophy. There's one talk which I do, which is really deep, but I will share with you one of my thought processes because I'm having fun. If you guys have read this author called Alan Watts, I like him, he's great. And he writes some very interesting stuff. In one of his books, and also a book that I'm working on, here's a concept he talks about. The concept is, when someone is pushed off a cliff and when someone is born, when you are born or if you're pushed off the cliff, is the exact same thing. Being pushed off a cliff and being born is the exact same thing. Can someone tell me why? Why? Maria, why? Well, I'll tell you why. No, yeah, you can't. Fabio, I love you. But yeah, that is true. Fear of the unknown, yeah. You don't know what's coming, but Maria Ines, the thing is, you do know what's coming. You do know what's coming. What's coming after you're pushed off a cliff? Death. You're going to die. And what's coming after you're born? Death. You're going to die. The thing is, in both cases, you are absolutely going to die. for sure. But when you're pushed out, when you're born, let's say, when you're born, you spend your entire life clinging on to life. You spend your entire life avoiding death and fighting death. And when you're pushed off a cliff, many people who've had like almost death, near death experiences will tell you that they feel liberated, they feel free, because in that moment, they don't have the fear of dying because they know it's going to happen anyways. And they feel completely free. And I'm telling you something which is way, way off tangent, only because I appreciate the maturity of the questions that are coming in here. And the truth is, yeah, we are Brazilians and we love to have fun. And right now, this is more crucial than anything else, because look, I think we go through, as a business person like me, I own 14 different companies. I go through, and so do you go through something called decision fatigue. You make more than 10,000 decisions a day, 10,000 decisions or more, constant decision, and then you get tired. And the best way I found to make a decision is, so for example, Marcos says, hey, look, Yash, would you like to come speak for us? I'll say, well, is this going to be fun? I'll ask myself. Answer is yes. Okay, let me do it. Simple. Is this going to not be fun? If the answer is no, this is not going to be fun, I just won't do it, regardless of the money, regardless of what's coming in, because it just helps me balance all the decisions that come about in my life. And hence, the third lesson is the best why is simply because it's fun. And everything else will follow. And as we approach time, you know, there's been so much that has happened in the business world over the past so many years. All of you are fighters, and you've stuck around, and I really appreciate you being here at this convention, listening to me. And hence I want to tell you very closely through a story as to what I believe is happening in BNI and what's happening in the pandemic. And I want to share that with you through a story which I really love. So a question to you, I'm sure you guys have seen this. Has everyone seen this painting, this mural called, what's it called? It's called The Last Supper. And who's the artist? Who's the artist? Guys, who's the artist? Yeah, Da Vinci and Tasea. One of my favorite places in Brazil is the Corcovado. It's beautiful. But anyways, is made by Da Vinci. Now, Da Vinci, by the way, what I'm telling you is a myth. It's a legend, okay? But understand, is Da Vinci was known to be, so we don't know the facts, exact facts, but here's how it goes. Is Da Vinci was known to be a crazy, crazy fellow. He was, of course, very, very smart, very, very amazing in his art, but he was also nuts. And he was extremely particular about who he chose to depict in his paintings. So Da Vinci, when he was making The Last Supper, legend has it, that he was looking for real life characters to make in the paintings. And what Da Vinci did was he started looking, and the first person he wanted to make in the painting and he started looking for was Jesus Christ, the image of Jesus Christ. So he went about and he found this beautiful young boy, about 5-7 years old, and he found this boy with beautiful blonde hair, eyes glowing. You could see his soul through his eyes and nice plump cheeks. And he found this guy and he said, you are going to be my Jesus. Found him, brought him to his, he was nuts. And he brought, Da Vinci brings this little boy to his studio and starts to paint him, and then gives him a beard and gives him hair, and he makes Jesus. And then he started looking for the rest of the apostles, right? So the Last Supper is depicting Jesus with all of his apostles and Judas until he was betrayed and then killed. And so he starts drawing the other apostles, he finds them, and finally he starts to look for Judas. And they say that he was looking for someone who had absolutely lost all interest in life, someone who depicted like death, someone whose soul had left their eyes. And he was looking for absolute misery, raw pain. And Jesus started looking, and Da Vinci started looking. And Da Vinci started going around, and he was looking and looking. And for 1 week, he didn't find anyone. For a month, he looked, he didn't find anyone. He looked for a year, no one. 5 years, and he was so picky, he did not finish the painting. 10 years, he looked, did not find anyone. 15 years later, Da Vinci was walking in this dark alley when he tumbled, and he fell onto something, and he looked to the left, and he saw this drug addict lying down on the floor. And this drug addict is on the floor, and Da Vinci looks at him and says, "Oh my God, Judas, I found you." And this guy had like dark circles around him, and he had red eyes, and his hair was all over the place. Picks him up, and Da Vinci takes him and says, "I'll give you money, I'll give you drugs, whatever you want, just come back to my studio." And Da Vinci takes him back to his studio, puts him there, and he starts to paint him. And Da Vinci comes back and he starts to make the painting, and he looks at the drug addict, and the guy starts to cry. And Da Vinci says, "Oh my God, son, what happened?" Goes to him and says, "What do you want? Do you need more drugs? Do you need more money? Like, what's your problem?" And he says, No, nothing, keep going." And Da Vinci comes back and starts to paint, and the drug addict now, after 15 seconds, just starts bawling. He's crying. And Da Vinci doesn't know what the hell has happened. So he walks up to him and says, "Son, what's wrong? What's happening?" And the drug addict looks up at Da Vinci and says, "Sir, 15 years ago, you used me as Jesus. And today you're using me as Judas. 15 years ago, you used me as Jesus." Now this is legend, but the thing is, in these times, in this pandemic, are we going to go from being Jesus to Judas, or from being Judas to Jesus? Because this is an age of transformation. This is going to make us who we are. And I want to say that BNI, to me, is not a membership organization. It is absolutely a leadership organization that leads to transformation. And I want you to ask yourself, who have you become from the day you came in to who you are now? Who have you become? Because life is not about what you get, but it's about who you become in the process. And the saddest thing in the world is the richest man in the graveyard, right? And I really want you to focus on that transformation, because I know at BNI Brazil, we will not settle for mediocre when excellence is an option. Thank you very much, Brazil. It's my absolute pleasure. Obrigado, everyone. I hope those stories touched you, because I didn't want to get into too much BNI stuff. And it's so awesome to be with you. So Marcos, thank you very much. Mateus, I must say you've been an awesome host. Thank you very much for all the coordination. And to you, I love you, Brazil. And we are open to questions. Go to the Q&A and I'll take them from there. I wish I could see you. It makes it a lot more fun. But in the event that I can't, I am happy to take them. And guys, if you like this, well, actually, I'll hand over to Brazil first, Marcos first. So Marcos, thank you very much. That's it from me, and then we can get into questions.
Thank you, Yash. Thank you very much. Very insightful. And so,
thank you.
Let's see the question. Let's see.
All right, and guys, if you guys enjoyed this, here's where you can find me in case I forget at the end. Is go to your Instagram now. Everyone, go to your Instagram. It's the best way because I do check it. Facebook's rarely going to happen. And it's at Yash Vasant. You'll find me there. And if you go to Facebook, please go to the page. Don't go to my personal page, but go to the page, because that's where all the videos go. That's where all the BNI stuff goes. And that's what I check. So it's Yash Vasant. You'll type it and go to the page, not the profile. Go to the page. Okay, if you're done with that, let's go with questions. So Marcos, do you want me to just read them out? I'll just read them out and I'll go. So I'll start with Marcos. Is that okay? Okay, so the first question is by that. But first of all, thank you, Ronaldo. Perfect. Ronaldo says he enjoyed the lecture. That makes me happy. I'm going to tell my friends that Ronaldo complimented me. Andrea, thank you. Elisa Angela, thank you. Renata, awesome. Thank you very much, guys. Here's some questions. Mario Rocha, in your opinion, does an entrepreneur's impediment wall begin in his stance in the face of challenges? Okay, so I'm assuming what Mario is talking about is the impediment wall, meaning when an entrepreneur is trying to do something, what stops them from becoming who they should be? Mario, is that correct? If you can come on the chat box with me, please. Right, so he's trying to say, what stops an entrepreneur from becoming who they are? Is it his stance in the face of challenges? And the answer is absolutely yes. Absolutely yes, because I want to extract from it. Is a lot of times people ask me this question saying, hey, Yash, look, you've done well and we enjoyed what you said. What is, you know, how do you control emotions, or how do you, what is the one thing that makes a difference when faced with a challenge? And my answer is like this: it is about how you look at your story. It is about how you look at your story. So I have a question for Mario and for all of you while I answer this question is, what do you guys think is the, yeah, thank you, Maria. So what do you guys think is the definition of happiness? Can someone tell me the definition of happiness? Anyone? Mario, family, okay. Nah. Oh, if I come to Rio, I will visit you. I'm sure Marcos will make sure. Guys, what is the definition of happiness? Tell me, Tiago, it's an easy question. Yeah, someone says peace, someone says joy. Would you guys agree that happiness is different for different people? Happiness means different things to different people? Agreed? Carlos says yes. Yes, definitely. I say no. I say nonsense. Happiness means only one thing. And write it down. And I can argue with you all day, and I love to discuss it with you. But here's the answer. Happiness means only one thing. Happiness equals progress. Happiness equals growth. If you're growing in anything, if you're growing in the number of books that you've read, in the number of books that you own, in the number of companies that you have, in the number of bank accounts that you have, the amount of money that you have, the amount of employees, members, referrals, one-to-one, if you're growing in any number, you're happy. In fact, if you're growing in any, you're growing in your bicep, you're growing in your shoulder, apart from your belly, if anything is growing, you're happy. Yes or no? Someone said family. The truth is, when someone is born in your family, do you feel happy or sad? Happy. When someone dies, happy or sad? Sad. Whenever you're growing, you feel happy. Someone mentioned problems. Felipe, I think that's a great question, but not true. I asked a great friend, I said, what is your definition of happiness? And he said, the process of solving a problem is happiness. Because if you had no problems, you would never be able to experience happiness. And this relates to my question of what the stance is in the face of challenges, as Mario asked, because it is all about the meaning that you attach to the challenge that comes to you. It's about the meaning. So if a challenge came to you because your meaning is because it wants to make me better, it wants to have me grow, it's there to make me evolve into the person I'm always meant to be, then the challenge is great. And you're going to face it and you're going to kill it. Right? So I hope that helps. Happiness is about to be born. Okay. Oh, awesome. You're having a baby. Awesome. Tiago, congratulations to you. And how about some news to you, Tiago? So my wife and I, we're having a baby in November. So I'm about to be a father for the first time too. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Okay. So next question is, Beatrice, what is your worst rule? Beatrice, I don't think there is such a thing as a worst rule, because a rule is circumstantial, right? A rule is for that particular person. So for example, I can't tell you the whole story, but I'll tell you. So about 2 years ago, I had opened my schedule up to take on some personal mentees. And I really didn't have time. So I decided, let me charge an insane amount. And I was charging like $4,000 an hour or something like that. And people still came. And this one young girl, her father was paying for her. She came in and I still remember, this is the same office where she walked in, and she walks in from that door. She comes in and she was wearing this black top and black pants. Her hair was tied. There was like oil on her face and pimples, and just very, very sad, very sad. And she came in and we spoke for about 90 minutes. Then the second session was about 15 days later. And 15 days later, I kid you not, she walked in and she's wearing this pink dress with her hair is open, the wind is blowing. She walked in and it was like this sudden like burst of energy that came into my office, and all of a sudden there was this new girl. And you know what changed? What changed was I was able to break a rule in her life, because in her life she'd had a relationship which was very abusive, very abusive. There's this guy in her life who had done bad things with her. And her belief was that that's what she deserved. Her rule was that because of something that she had done in the past as a baby, she deserved to be treated like that by a man. That's what she believed. Now, that's a rule that'll take a toll on you. And so many women, I mean, it's unbelievable that I meet that have this. So, you know, that rule for her was the worst rule, Beatrice. I hope that helps. There's no such thing as the worst rule, but it's going to, it's going to depend. What is my why, Maria? My why is because it's fun, really. Honestly, a lot of the things that I do now are more simple because I think we complicate life a little too much, Because if you ask me, right, if it's fun, you have meaning to it. You have meaning to everything, every relationship, every partner that you have, everything that you're doing, every event that you're a part of, it's fun. But the end goal, Maria, the end goal, if you really get deeper, like for me, the end goal is to not want anything. Until you reach that level, you want to make sure you have a lot of fun doing it. Because, I mean, this is a long discussion, but the idea is you want to achieve in order to let go. And when you're able to let go, that's when you absolutely have lived a great life, Maria. I hope that helps. Yeah, Micheline, absolutely. Simone says, happiness when smart men grow up in different areas and look for a balance in life. You know, Simone, it's a bad conversation to have with me about balance, because here's what I think about balance. I get this question a lot. Is if you work in balance, I don't think there is such a thing as work-life balance. I think it is the greatest myth in the universe, greatest myth. And you keep trying to find balance and you're only going to find disappointment. You're only going to find disappointment because there is no such thing as work-life balance. If you want an extraordinary result, you will give extraordinary effort. That's the only way. That's the only way. I've never met a successful person who goes home at 4 p.m. Like whatever book you're reading or whatever someone is telling you, 3-hour work week and 2-hour work week is nonsense. The only way to really get out there and be extraordinary is put in extraordinary effort, which is going to be imbalanced for a certain amount of time. And then you can bring in imbalance in another part of your life. But you don't want balance. Like there are times when I'm with my family, I'm just with my family. There's imbalance there. I don't look at my work. When I'm at work, I'm just with my work. You know, I don't believe in balance very much. So that's that for you. So thank you, Maria. Andrea, I don't speak Portuguese, so
hey, Yash, I can get that translated for you.
Yes,
so
please.
She's asking, as a neuroscientist, what's the process of changing the mindset to break with the rules?
Awesome question, Andrea, and I hope your translator is translating this as we speak. What is the process of breaking rules? We'll break it up into three steps. The first one is identifying a rule. Now, this is where the catch is. This is where the catch is because, sorry, I was reading the chat box, is that, look, a rule is something by definition that you don't question, right? So the simplest understanding of identifying a rule is to find someone outside your life who spots it. For example, a lot of us walk around with our glasses on our head, right? Our glasses are on our head. We're looking around. Where are my glasses? Where are my glasses? You can't see them. They're on your head. And then someone out there says, oh, Yash, your glasses are on your head. And that person can identify your rules for you. Hence, it's very important, very, very important to have a mentor, have a coach, have someone in your life that is looking at you closely out of love and respect, but not out of fear. Like they don't want to please you. They just want to give you what is. And that's the first step in identifying a rule. The second step, from a neuroscientist point of view, since you asked me, is I'm going to break it down for you, right? Is Andrea, if you are on this, can you go to the chat box for me? Yeah, absolutely, Maria. So once you identify your rule, here's what you do. Andrea, okay, awesome. Do you think we can control all the experiences that happen to us? Do you think we can control all the experiences that happen to us? Yes or no? Absolutely not. Okay, Andrea, awesome. Tell me though, can we, okay, so no, but can we control all the emotions that come out of every experience that happen to us? Can we control the emotion? Like 100% control emotion? I'm interested in Andrea's answer. Where does she go? Andrea, sometimes difficult, says Feliciano. Erica, not 100%. Okay. Yeah. So somebody says, some of you said yes, some of you said not 100%. And the answer is absolutely 100% yes. You can control the emotion that is generated out of every experience. But then the question is, Yash, really? What if someone died? If someone dies, can you be happy? Like, can you control the experience? Can you control the emotion because of that experience? And here's the answer. People think that experience leads to emotion, right? So experience happens and then you have an emotion. But the truth is, this statement is not complete. The statement is not complete. So please work with me. I want you to draw this on a piece of paper. Experience here, emotion here. In the middle is a very, very, very important factor of our life, which we call meaning. Meaning. Experience attached with meaning brings emotion. And the meaning is a choice. The meaning is a choice. So if you can control your meaning, you can control your emotion. It's the craziest thing, Andrea. Thank you. You know, the meaning is a choice, is 100% choice. For example, let's say you're dating someone, right? You have a boyfriend and the man breaks up with you. Now, the experience is breakup. The meaning, let's say the meaning is, well, he broke up with me because I am not good enough, or because I'm not sexy enough, or because I'm a horrible human being. The emotion is going to be sadness, is going to be self-loathing. But let's say the emotion, breakup, some girl breaks up with me, and the meaning I attach as well because, you know, there's someone else, someone better in my life who's about to come, or because she wasn't good enough, right? Or because there is a better life waiting for me. The emotion is different. The emotion now is happy. Meaning decides emotion. For example, if I told you there was a mouse that died yesterday, you're not going to start crying. But for one person on this call, for one of you, a mouse was your best friend when you were a child. And as soon as you hear a mouse dying, your meaning was, oh my God, what if this was my mouse? And now there is meaning, so you cried. Maria, yeah, that was funny. Yeah, about a rabbit, right? So your meaning is what decides emotion. So the second point is you change your meaning, you change your emotion. And the third is, you know, how you change your rule is you are, you know, there are 3 layers. I don't want to get into all of them, but beliefs are like, it's funny I use the word virus, but beliefs are like viruses, right? Their food is proof. The food of a belief is proof, evidence. So let's say you have a belief that your belief is that if I drink coffee, I will lose weight. Okay, that's your belief. And let's say you start drinking coffee, you drink coffee, and after a week you lose 2 kilos. Now your belief system says, oh my God, drinking coffee makes you lose weight. Even though you could have done 10 other things, you're working out, you're running, you're eating healthy, everything. But because your mind is looking for proof, it gets the proof and it makes a belief. Andrea, this is a little technical. So what you want to do is you want to constantly modify the evidence and really scan the causation and correlation that's happening around you. Why are you feeling a certain way? Why is a rule coming about? And if you're able to identify truly the cause, you'll be able to change your rules. I hope that helps, Andrea. Is that good? 3 steps? Where'd you go? Okay, awesome. Thank you. Mario says, we have an example that we have here is that a frog dies in a cauldron where the water heats up slowly and it does not insist on going out and dies cooked. Successful businessman is the one who is troubled and who is looking for alternatives to any. Because I don't think I understand that. Mateus, what is he trying to say?
Let me take a look over here. You want to switch to the next one? I'm going to read it and then I'll translate it to you, okay?
Okay, I'll do Celso and Alexander. I like both of them. He says, Celso says, I love the analogy comparing dying to birth. How have you ever thought about comparing this to events also to a very difficult decision? Absolutely, Celso. But the point that I was trying to make earlier was a little bit deeper, is that we have a weird relationship with death. You know, if you ever read Plato's Republic, where he's writing about Socrates, he says, if death were an everlasting sleep, I welcome it. And if death were a transition to a new plane, I look forward to it. Here I go to die and you to live. Which is better? God only knows. And I was making that point today because of the coronavirus. We're all like freaking out. But the thing is, instead of clinging on to life, if we start living it, instead of just holding on to life, if we start living it, it's a lot more fun. But yeah, if you have an important decision to take in your life, it's actually about meaning. Attach the right meaning and it will become a lot easier, Celso. Alexander says, congratulations. If you're in front of something that gives you butterflies in your stomach, do you think that will be funny? I don't know why you asked me that, but I have had situations like that. And I've had butterflies in my stomach, for example, when I have to give a big speech. But I have also, those butterflies, they help me perform. They help me do better. But I don't know if it'll be funny or not. Alexander, if you want to elaborate on that, would be better. Coming to Cynthia, it's been a pleasure to be at this conference and watching you speak. Thank you very much, Cynthia. Appreciate it. How not to freak out at this time where market is so short for services? Absolutely, Cynthia. You know, when Marcos and I were deciding, like maybe Marcos, I don't know, next year if we're doing the convention, hopefully I'll be able to be with you guys in Brazil. And I wanted to do a whole session on how you can really run a business at this time. So first answer is how not to freak out. Just don't freak out. Don't freak out. It's in your control. No one else is controlling your brain. There's no robot in there. Just don't freak out. But to give you a more in-depth answer, is right now is about exploration and is about developing skill set. It's also about massive opportunity. I'll give you an example. For example, we are right now, one of my businesses, I've never been in the trading business. And right now we're doing a deal for about, I think it should be about $120 million US for masks from Europe to the US. And it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that this opportunity came about. $120 million US is a big deal, right, Cynthia? And you're able to get into newer opportunities. But there's a few things you want to keep in your mind to not freak out. The first one, I call it the 5 C's. The first C is cash. Remember, cash is king. Keep your money on you. Don't be stupid with it. Right now, be liquid. Have liquid cash. Manage your cash well. Second C is communication. Communicate with your team, with your stakeholders, with your vendors, with your suppliers, with your members. Keep doing it over and over. Tell them that you're around. Tell them what you're up to will help, because the third C is confirming continuity. Make sure that you have a plan A. What are you doing tomorrow? What are you doing day after? What are your finances? What are they looking like, Cynthia? I think that's critical, absolutely critical. And no matter what you do, you want to have some sort of revenue coming in. Some sort of revenue. I don't care if it's in your business or another business. Please make it happen. The fourth C is what I call competition. And I'll tell you what I mean by this is, you know, in fact, Graham, the CEO of BNI, had spoken about this, which I really appreciated, is imagine that right now, Cynthia, imagine that you run a store, and right across from your store, someone has started a business, a store that sells the same product as you. There is direct competition right in front of you across the street. Now, will you, in that situation, will you give a better price? Yes. Will you innovate in your product? Yes. Will you work harder? Yes. Will you do, will you come up with newer innovations in your product? Yes. You'll work harder, work stronger, work better, right? So think competition. Think that there is competition happening right now. This is not a vacation. This is not an easy time. This is a time to work above and beyond. Like I've worked about 13 hours a day for the past 60 days at least. And I'm sure Marcos will agree. We've worked harder than ever before because that's how you survive. That's the answer, but not by freaking out. Because if you freak out, it's not going to help. You want to make sure you're working harder because you just have to. It's the way the world is. And the fifth, the C, where did I go? Yeah, someone put them down. Cash, communicate, competition, confirm continuity. And the fifth one, fifth, the C from me was?
Consistency.
Well, yeah, clarity, communication, and consistency are my leadership ones. But for Cynthia, one second, actually, let me show you that. Okay, while it comes on, I'll tell you the last C, Cynthia. It'll come to my head. I'm just blanking. Cash, communication, consistency, confirm continuity. Okay, here we go. Okay. I don't know how I forgot this one. The last C is, Cynthia, change the game. Change the game. And this one's important because it is time to change the game. You know, Wayne Gretzky once said, I skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it has been. And right now, you know what? BNI has given us the opportunity, the beautiful opportunity to collaborate, to find something new, to look for an opportunity that never existed. So change the game, because it is time to go big or grow home. Go big or go home. You know, embrace the uncertainty and continue to learn as you go, because these are beautiful times if you make the most of them. So I hope that helps you, Cynthia. Where are you? Let me see. Blanking. Yeah, Tiago. There's too much in my head today. And Marcella says, okay, same one on rules. Marcella, I'm going to come back to that one. Yeah, absolutely. So Ricardo, good question. Can you share some examples of business that is happening right now? Yeah, I can share with you a few. So one of the things on my plate has been, how can we make money and confirm continuity and do everything that I said, which we can only do online, like we can do in this world. So of course, one of the things has been, so for example, in India, it's very common to have people that are working in your home, right? Like house help, someone is helping you with your laundry, and it's very common. Now, I think in Brazil also, right? So thank you, Cynthia. Okay, so this is very common. Now, because of the lockdown, what happened is all the house help went back home to their villages, and there was no one to help at home. In India, the percentage of people who have dishwashers or washing machines is under 5%, because they have help to do this stuff for them. Now, because of the coronavirus, one of the things that happened is then insane. I'm seeing it, a crazy opportunity in FMCG. So we're looking to set up a distribution for large companies like Samsung, Sony, etc., where the amount of dishwashers, washing machines that are going to be used is going to be crazy, Ricardo. Crazy. So that's one example. Another example is really, truly harnessing the online world. What I mean is, I don't think it's time for us to recreate the wheel, right? For example, let me get this out of the way. For example, Zoom has been in our lives, right? We know what Zoom is. We don't need to create Zoom, but we need to perfect the wheel. We need to use it better. So what are some of the things that you can do now that you could not do before? To give you an idea, we had, we've always had Zoom. I've used Zoom for the past 5 years for all my companies. I've always used Zoom, for BNI especially. But we never thought that I could do this in Brazil, sitting here in India. We never did this, right? We never did a national convention online where people from across Brazil did not know how to fly in and do it. So I've recently invested in a company that does online events, Marcos, and I'll send that link to you. It's incredible what we've done. So for example, in my region in India, we had a BNI event called the 1 Degree Convention. And I don't know if someone from Brazil was there, but we had people from across the world that came in. And it was a full event. We had one-to-ones, we had 10 speakers, we had a celebration, a gala, a comedy show, a concert, everything. There was something that we could do online. So these are ideas, Ricardo, that really can be explored. And I love the way you're thinking, so I wish you luck. Wilson says the world tourism market was thrown to the floor during these great pods. In addition to trying to reinvent our businesses, what would be the golden rule for not getting lost along the way? Absolutely brilliant. Wilson, I wish I could see you because I love where you're thinking and what this question's about. So I have only 6 more minutes. So I want to say this is, first of all, the tourism industry did go down the drain. I believe that it's going to come right back up. Just wait. The only difference is when it comes back up, let's say I assume I'm making an assumption that you are from Sao Paulo. Let's say you have 10,000, or let's say you have 1,000 travel agents in Sao Paulo. I think 6 months from now, you will have only 500 and 500 will die. And if you are one of the 500 that survive, you're going to absolutely kick butt. Your clients are going to double. Your rates are going to be higher. You're going to grow well. Right? So that's something you do in your industry. And the second thing that I would do if I were you is look, the beauty of collaboration, Wilson, is don't look for too many things to do, but set your eyes on what your expertise is, what you bring to the table. Look for someone else who complements that skill and start a revenue stream online. Please. BNI Brazil, I have one homework for you. And the homework is, no matter if your business is running or not running, I really want each one of us, I don't care if it's only $100 a week, but you need to have some sort of a revenue coming into your bank account every single week in an online business. I need you to do it. Absolutely do it if your business is not happening, because there are ways and I need you to find one and do it. So Wilson, I hope that helps. Erica says, do you agree that happiness comes when we find the essence and feel the growth inside exploding for several areas of our lives? Erica, I'm going to have to take this question one-to-one. There's a lot going on there. Let me see if I can address it. But let me combine a few questions. Alfredo, you were in Bangkok. Yes, I remember. My question is, storytelling how to start with something bad. Should we start to build the context first? Okay, I'm going to take this question as our last question. Let me just make sure. Okay. Alfredo's question is important. And he says, you told us storytelling has to start with something bad. Shall we start to build the context first? The answer in storytelling is not that it has to start with something bad. In fact, if you really want to know how to tell good stories, in fact, that's what Marcos and I were planning to do with you. But a great story starts with sunlight and amazing flowers and amazing times. Everything's happy. Everyone's like joyful. And then something goes bad. And then there's a storm and there's rainfall and bad things. And then there is a transformation in the protagonist or the antagonist. And then again, he or she rises. Good, bad, good. This makes a great story, Alfredo. And in the quest of making a great story, you know, it's about, you look at any good movie, look at any movie that's been super successful. You will see that things are good, then things go bad, there's transformation. And this is what makes a great story. And this is what your life is anyways. Pick up at any point in your life and you'll be able to make that story. And with that, oh man, there's, Mateus, just give me a second to take a look at the chat box. Yeah, so if you want to, okay, so that's all the questions I'm going to take, guys. I really wish I could take more, and I look forward to seeing you in Brazil soon. I just really love the warmth that you've given me. I appreciate it. To reach me, please go on Instagram or Facebook and go to @Yashvasan. Send me a message. We'll be able to chat. And the email address to my office is this. Okay, awesome, everyone. Thank you very much. Mateus, that's it from my end. I think we're out of time. Marcos, just you, and over to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Yash. Great speech, and you confirm with the answers. I mean, you show, you know, all the aspects of the leadership and the psychology and neuroscience. Great.
Well, Hey, Marcos, I had a request for everyone. Guys, we want to do, I haven't been able to do, I've done like 3 keynotes online, Marcos, but we haven't gotten a good selfie. I request all of you, go to your screen, make it a speaker view, and let's do a selfie. I'm going to do one. So I have Brazil, there we go. Awesome, do a selfie, tag it and post it. That will be a great memory for me to keep until we meet again. Marcos.
Yes, I'm also doing myself. Yes. You know,
well, hey, have some fun.
This is our first online national conference, man.
I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yes.
É isso aí, pessoal. Vamos tirar, né, nossa selfie, aproveitar aí, marcar BNI Brasil, marcar o Yash também no Instagram, colocar hashtag. So Yash, we created a hashtag for this national conference.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's CN BNI Brazil 2020.
CN BNI Brazil 2020.
2020. So that's our official hashtag.
Brazil with an S. Not
Brazil with S. Yep.
Okay.
Então,
I don't falo Português, but I am learning.
Very good.
Excelente.
So, Yash, now we are going to have our awards.
Yes.
And you are very welcome if you want, you know?
I might not be here for the whole thing, but I'm going to see what you guys do. But please go at it. All the best.
Yes, thank you very much.
É isso aí, pessoal. Então, quem está na sala simultânea, na sala de tradução simultânea, vou pedir para que vocês voltem aqui, né, a nossa conferência original e ao YouTube também, para que a gente possa dar o início a premiação, esse momento tão importante. Então, você que está assistindo aí a tradução simultânea em português, por favor, volte para a sala original. Aqui está o QR Code, tá? Na parte esquerda da sua tela. Ou se você quiser acompanhar também a premiação diretamente do YouTube, entra lá, youtube.com/TV BNI Brasil. Ou simplesmente posiciona, né, o seu QR Code aqui no link que vai te levar diretamente para lá. Pessoal, eu gostaria de mandar um abraço, temos os nossos irmãos portugueses também assistindo aqui ao vivo a nossa Conferência Nacional, então um forte abraço a todos os nossos amigos de Portugal. Tenemos también en vivo nuestros amigos de Colombia y de México, entonces un fuerte saludo a todos nuestros hermanos mexicanos y también de Colombia que están asistiendo a nuestra conferencia. Siéntanse todos muy bienvenidos. Então, temos pessoas de outros países, podemos ver, né, Marcos, que não é apenas uma conferência nacional, mas o digital nos permite alcançar outros países também. E enquanto as pessoas estão retornando à sala principal, estão também ingressando e entrando no YouTube, eu gostaria de mostrar mais algumas fotos. Estamos recebendo muitas fotos aí, né? As pessoas seguindo o BNI Brasil no Instagram, colocando a nossa hashtag oficial CNBNI Brasil 2020. Temos várias fotos aí. Então, você que está tirando o seu selfie de respeito, vai lá, marca a gente gostaria que você aparecesse também na nossa tela, para que a gente possa interagir, ver vocês, estarmos mais próximos ainda através dos meios digitais. Então, temos várias fotos, inclusive alguns com o cafezinho. Aproveita, pegue o seu cafezinho aí, para que a gente possa dar início à premiação. Várias fotos aí, né? Alguns com frio, com casaco, outros não. O cafezinho aí aparecendo. Que legal, pessoal. Continue mandando a sua foto, tira aquele selfie bonito e vai ser uma honra compartilhar com todos vocês aí. Então, várias fotos chegando, é muito bom. Mesmo estando aí à distância, no online, ter os nossos membros, os nossos empresários mais próximos é sempre muito bom. Então, pessoal, quem ainda não voltou, né, aqui a tela principal, quem ainda não acessou o YouTube, vamos lá para que a gente possa dar início à nossa tão esperada premiação. Não é verdade, Marcos?
É isso aí, Matheus. Excelente. Essa interação com o público é fantástica. E vamos lá. Então, a premiação, eu queria só destacar alguns aspectos, só para as pessoas estarem primeiro, né? Esse ano, as premiações, elas estão baseadas nos números de 2019, né? Então, é importante, principalmente em relação ao que a gente dividiu, né? Vocês vão ver que para cada critério da premiação, nós vamos ter equipes sendo premiadas, membros com 6 a 12 meses também sendo premiados, né, nessa categoria, e membros acima de 12 meses, tá? Então, provavelmente, alguém que está recebendo um prêmio de 6 a 12 meses, talvez já completou mais, né? Porque nós já estamos em junho, né? Então, mas tudo bem, o que está valendo é os resultados de 2019, tá bom? Então, é importante a gente mencionar isso aí, tá? Então, o Matheus ele vai estar mostrando aí os critérios, né? E depois os indicados e os premiados finais. Nós, todos, né? Primeiro, né? Vamos pensar o seguinte, estamos falando aqui de uma premiação nacional. Então, todos que aparecerem aqui já são vencedores, né? Vocês estão se destacando diante, né, de mais de 7 mil membros e hoje nós estamos com 192 equipes. Então, quem aparecer aqui já estão, eu diria que fazem parte de uma elite dentro do BNI. Então, já dou meu parabéns. É algo que a gente sabe, tem muita gente competitiva, gosta, né, de batalha o ano inteiro e quer ter esse reconhecimento. Então, é importante a gente estar aqui premiando a todos vocês, tá bom? Então, vamos lá, Matheus. O primeiro critério, você pode mesmo tomar aí, tá bom?
Perfeito. Então, como o Marcos falou, estão as categorias. Então, a primeira categoria que iremos premiar são os maiores números de convidados. Segunda categoria, maior número de referências geradas. Terceira categoria, oportunidades de negócios gerados. A quarta categoria, maior performance. E temos 3 novas categorias que iremos premiar nessa manhã também, que seria a primeira equipe diamante do Brasil, regiões com melhor performance e o diretor BNI Atitude Givers Game. Pessoal, até para a gente poder ter uma interação legal, né? Você poder tirar aquele selfie, se você tiver, né, entre os premiados, eu vou até dar uma pausa quando chegar aí, né, os indicados e também os 3 finalistas, para que você possa tirar aquela selfie bonita, de respeito, colocar aí na sua casa, no seu escritório, na cabeceira da sua cama, tá? E não esqueça de marcar a gente. Pessoal, vamos iniciar aí com a categoria de maior número de convidados. E aqui vamos iniciar com as equipes. Então, como vocês podem ver, aqui estão as equipes indicadas, certo? Então, se você quiser tirar sua foto, aqui estão as equipes indicadas para essa primeira categoria. E agora, vamos para os 3 finalistas. Todos preparados? Câmeras prontas? Flash desligado para não prejudicar a sua selfie? E os 3 finalistas são, em primeiro lugar, BNI Prisma, do Alto Tietê, seguido por BNI Imperador de Franca e, por último, BNI Valor do Espírito Santo. Então, essas são as equipes vencedoras na categoria de maior número de convidados. Lembrando que todos irão receber um certificado e enviaremos para vocês, pessoal. Então, parabéns aos 3 finalistas, lembrando que todos são vencedores só no fato de estar presentes. Vamos continuar com a mesma categoria de maior número de convidados, só que agora vamos selecionar os membros entre 6 e 12 meses. Então, como vocês podem ver, aqui estão os nossos né, os top 15 membros do Brasil. Então, tira aí a sua foto. E agora vamos para os 3 finalistas. Então, aqui estão os nossos 3 finalistas, maior número de convidado para membros entre 6 e 12 meses. Então, em primeiro lugar, Ricardo Bach, né, do BNI Impulso, Espírito Santo. Temos o Paulo Henrique, do BNI Exclusivo de Recife. E também o Gabriel Moreira, BNI BH Elite. Então, parabéns aos nossos 3 finalistas. Já tiraram aquela selfie de respeito? Continuando a mesma categoria, pessoal, vamos agora com os membros com mais de 12 meses no BNI. Então, aqui estão os nossos finalistas, na verdade, os 15 melhores aí da categoria. E agora vamos para os 3 finalistas. Então, aqui estão os nossos 3 finalistas. Bom, temos o Daniel Ayag, né? Aí do Prisma, do Alto Tietê. Temos a Marina Souza, também do Prisma. E o Denis Matos, também do Prisma. Então, realmente, né? Equipe completa aí, representando o maior número de convidados entre 6 e acima de 12 meses. Então, parabéns aos 3 finalistas e parabéns também ao BNI Prisma, da região aí do Alto Tietê. Parabéns a todos. Bom, vamos agora passar para a próxima categoria. A próxima categoria é maior número de referências geradas. Então, iremos iniciar aí com as equipes. Então, aqui estão as equipes, são as melhores equipes, né, de maior número de referências geradas do Brasil. E agora vamos para as 3 equipes finalistas. Então, temos aí BNI Imperador de Franca, BNI Valor de Vitória no Espírito Santo e BNI Minas Águia. Então, estão aí as nossas melhores equipes no quesito de maior número de referências geradas. Vamos continuar com a mesma categoria, porém para membros entre 6 e 12 meses. Então, aí estão todos os nossos candidatos presentes, nossos 15 candidatos. Tira a sua foto, não esquece de tirar aquele selfie bonito. E vamos para os 3 finalistas, pessoal. Então, os 3 finalistas, temos a Micheline Marra, BNI Minas vencedor. Temos o André Luiz Figueiredo, né, do Energy Team, da SP Central. E o Anderson de Moraes, da BNI Reference, aí de Sumaré. Então, você que saiu nessa foto bonita, aproveita, estica o braço e tira aquele selfie de respeito, coloca nas mídias sociais e fala, realmente estou de parabéns por ter gerado por ser um grande gerador de referências, não só no BNI, mas no Brasil. Agora vamos, mesma categoria, porém membros com mais de 12 meses, pessoal. Então, aqui temos os nossos, pessoas que estão concorrendo aí nessa categoria. Veja a sua fotinho aí, todos muito bem arrumados, simpáticos na beca. E vamos para os 3 finalistas. Bom, maior número de referências geradas para membros com mais de 12 meses. Temos o André Luiz Elias, BNI Minas Fênix, na Grande BH Sul. Temos o Glaucio Siqueira, BNI Valor, Espírito Santo. E temos a Joana Correia, SP Visão, de São Paulo. Então, esses são os nossos 3 premiados. Vamos para uma próxima categoria que estaremos premiando nesta manhã, seriam oportunidades de negócios gerados. Então, vamos começar com as equipes. Então, aqui estão todas as 15 equipes que, se você faz parte de uma dessas equipes, vai lá, tira aquela foto bonita, vamos enquadrar, jogar lá na equipe, né? Não deixe de tirar a sua foto. Agora vamos para os 3 finalistas, pessoal. Então, oportunidade de negócios gerados. Temos aí, né, o BNI ABC Exponencial, certo? Segundo, temos também o BNI Excelência de Minas e também o BNI Princípio de Minas. Então, parabéns aí as 3 equipes vencedoras na categoria de oportunidade de negócios gerados. Vamos continuar com a mesma categoria, pessoal, para membros entre 6 e 12 meses. Então, aqui estão todos os nossos candidatos na beca, bem arrumado, né? Então, aproveite, tire a sua foto. E os nossos 3 finalistas. Então, temos o Anderson Barbosa, da Energy Team, SP Central. Temos a Cláudia Fernandes, né, do BNI Alphaville, oeste de São Paulo. E o André Luiz Figueiredo, também da Energy Team, da SP Central. Então, parabéns a todos. Parabéns ao pessoal da BNI Central Energy Team, com 2 finalistas aí, né? Oportunidade de negócios gerados. Meus parabéns a todos vocês. Continuando com a mesma categoria, vamos agora com os membros com mais de 12 meses, pessoal. Aqui estão os nossos finalistas. E os premiados, agora vamos com os 3 finalistas. Então, oportunidades de negócios gerados para membros com mais de 12 meses. Temos o Regis Abreu, BNI ABC Exponencial. Temos a Luísa Diniz, BNI Princípio, de Belo Horizonte. E temos a Luciana Geraldi, né, BNI Delta, região Rota das Bandeiras. Então, parabéns aos nossos 3 finalistas. Aproveitem e tirem aquela selfie de respeito. Vamos passar agora, pessoal, a nossa 4ª categoria, que é a categoria de maior performance, e vamos iniciar com equipes entre 6 e 12 meses. Então, aqui estão as equipes que se encaixam aí em maior performance entre 6 e 12 meses. E agora vamos mostrar os finalistas. As 3 equipes vencedoras de maior performance entre 6 e 12 meses. Primeiro, BNI Raízes, de Franca. Temos também o BNI Connection, do norte do Paraná, e BNI Sigma, de São Paulo. Então, parabéns a essas 3 equipes. Maior performance em equipes entre 6 e 12 meses. Agora continuamos com a mesma categoria, certo? De maior performance, porém com equipes que têm mais de 12 meses. Então, aqui está a lista de equipes que foram indicadas. E preparem os tambores que vamos ver os 3 finalistas. Com vocês, BNI ABC Exponencial, do ABC. Temos o BNI Valor, de Vitória, do Espírito Santo. E o BNI Elite, de Curitiba. Então, parabéns para essas 3 equipes. Parabéns aí aos diretores executivos, aos diretores consultores e a todos os membros dessa equipe que fazem parte dessa história e fizeram isso acontecer. Continuando, pessoal, com a mesma categoria, vamos agora premiar os membros entre 6 e 12 meses. Então, aqui estão todos os membros que fazem parte, que chegaram na finalíssima, certo? Então, membros com melhor performance entre 6 e 12 meses. E vamos para a última categoria, vamos ver os finalistas de maior performance para membros entre 6 e 12 meses. Então, temos o Breno Bianchini, BNI Diamante, Minas 1. Temos o Rodrigo Cardoso, BNI Delta, Rota das Bandeiras. E temos a Alda Colombo, BNI Elite, de Curitiba. Parabéns a esses 3 finalistas. Aproveite para tirar aquela foto bonita, os 3 na beca e enquadrar na cabeceira da sua cama. Muito bom, pessoal. Para finalizar essa categoria de maior performance, vamos premiar os membros que têm acima de 12 meses de casa, com o BNI. Então, aqui estão os nossos finalistas, né? Conseguimos ver aí os 20 indicados, todos na beca, muito simpáticos. Então, se você está aí, prepare o coração para que a gente possa ver os 3 finalistas. Todos prontos? 1, 2, 3 e... Aí estão os nossos 3 finalistas, maior performance, membros acima de 12 meses. Temos o Daniel, novamente, do BNI Prisma. temos a Júlia Baumgras. Júlia, espero que o seu sobrenome eu falei corretamente, tá? Do BNI Sucesso de Minas, e o Cadu Quadros, né? Do BNI Fiducian, aí do Rio de Janeiro. Então, parabéns aos nossos 3 finalistas na categoria de maior performance com membros acima de 12 meses.
Matheus,
Marcos.
eu queria, então, parabenizar aí os 3 finalistas e, em especial, para o Daniel Ayoag, porque ele voltou, né? Ele já tinha atingido a mesma premiação no passado, e agora depois ele caiu, e agora ele lutou e está de volta aí. Parabéns, Daniel. Faço questão aí de falar em público aí.
É isso aí, Daniel. Parabéns. Maravilha, Marcos. Bom, essa é uma categoria nova, tá? E gostaríamos de premiar a primeira equipe diamante do Brasil. Então, Marcos, quer explicar um pouco como que funciona essa categoria?
Que nós temos equipes, né, que a gente chama de Platinum, né? São equipes que ficam pelo menos 3 meses acima de 50 membros. Depois temos as equipes Titanium, que ficam 3 meses acima de 75 membros, e as equipes de Diamante, que são 3 meses acima de 100 membros. E nós tivemos várias equipes no ano passado que chegaram ali próximo, né? 96, 98, mas aquela que realmente atingiu 100, ultrapassou e se mantém acima é a Diamante, é a equipe, vamos lá, Imperador, né? Parabéns aí.
Então, vamos aproveitar todos os membros, né, da Imperador aí de Franca. Aproveita agora, tira aquele selfie de respeito, porque realmente, né, é fascinante chegar a 100 membros. Então, vamos deixar mais um tempinho aí. Parabéns a todo o BNI Imperador de Franca.
Imaginem, pessoal, cada reunião semanal é um evento de 130 pessoas. Imaginem isso, é fantástico. A energia deles é algo inimaginável. Mas parabéns, e vem se mantendo, provando, né, que é possível e está se mantendo, né? Parabéns.
É isso aí. E parabéns aos diretores executivos também, Jair e Suzana, que fazem, né, se não fosse também por eles, tudo isso não teria, né, acontecido. Pessoal, vamos aí para a nossa próxima categoria, regiões com melhor performance. Então, vamos mostrar aí, já temos essas 3 regiões, então não vamos mostrar a lista toda, vamos mostrar os finalistas. Então, temos aí a primeira região com melhor performance no Brasil, a região do Espírito Santo, diretor executivo Rodrigo de Bernardi. Então, parabéns, Rodrigo, parabéns a toda a regional aí do Espírito Santo. Temos também André Ribeiro e Eduardo Teixeira, diretores executivos da região de Curitiba. Parabéns, André, parabéns, Eduardo, né, e a toda a região de Curitiba. E temos também a Alessandra, certo? Juntamente com a Mara, diretoras executivas aí da região SP Central. Então, parabéns, Alessandra, parabéns, Mara, parabéns a toda a região aí da SP Central. Parabéns aos nossos diretores executivos, a todas as equipes das regiões de vocês e aos membros. Então, aqui estão as 3 regiões com melhor performance. E hoje, Marcos, nós temos também mais uma nova categoria que será premiada. Não é verdade? Gostaria de falar um pouco mais sobre essa categoria em especial?
Sim, realmente, nós, como disse o Yashi, né, o BNI é uma organização de líderes, né? Então, não é algo bastante impactante, ou seja, a gente somos líderes de líderes, né? Todos aqui, os empresários, os membros e tudo mais. Então, a gente já teve essa categoria, assim, essa premiação, nós já fizemos em outras conferências, e nesse ano, né, nesse ano de 2019, quem se destacou aí realmente, pode colocar o próximo slide, foi o Antônio Afonso, né? Ele realmente tem ajudado, ele é uma pessoa que, não sei quem conhece, não sei se todo mundo conhece, mas ele que é o responsável pelo Reporting to You, que todos nós usamos no Brasil, está sendo adotado, né, por todas as regiões. Ele é um profundo conhecedor da metodologia, né? Ele acaba sendo uma referência no mundo, né, do BNI. Ele faz parte do Founder Circle, ele faz parte de um grupo o Rapid Innovation Team, ou seja, ele também parte de inovação dentro do BNI. E nós temos o privilégio, né, de ter o Antônio Afonso aqui também como diretor executivo e diretor distrital aqui no Brasil, né? E trazendo, né, todo o conhecimento dele, um empresário bem-sucedido e que é um grande orgulho para a gente, né? E por que não, né? É de Portugal, ou seja, né, um país irmão. Eu fico muito feliz aí de estar premiando ele aqui para todo o Brasil. Uma grande conquista aí. Parabéns aí, Antônio Afonso. Até, Antônio, não sei se ele... Acho que ele não tem como, né? Ele entrar, né? Não tem como, né? Porque ele... A não ser que ele esteja no Zoom, né? Tá bom. Mas, de qualquer forma, quero parabenizar aí a todos os premiados. Como eu falei, todos são vencedores, todos vão receber um certificado, tá? E para os finalistas, depois nós vamos encaminhar, né, algo especial aí para vocês, né? Aqui o momento impede, mas vocês vão poder compartilhar com as suas equipes esse prêmio aí, essa conquista, tá? Então, quero parabenizar todos aí.
Bom, pessoal, como o Marcos falou, essas são as categorias que foram premiadas, e com isso encerramos também a nossa premiação da nossa primeira conferência online. E estamos chegando ao final da nossa conferência. Marcos, queria que você rapidamente compartilhasse conosco o que foi para você essa conferência, né? Como a maioria sabe, essa foi a nossa primeira conferência online. Então,
eu quero, assim, primeiro, assim, é muito legal, é uma experiência nova, né? Uma primeira conferência online. Com certeza, como a gente já falou, o BNI não será mais o mesmo, né? Ou seja, com certeza vamos agregar os benefícios do online, é algo que está sendo discutido internamente. Assim, só para vocês terem uma ideia, nós temos uma programação, já foi falado aí do Speed Networking, agora meados de junho. Já estamos planejando um grande evento que vai comemorar 1 ano da vinda do Ivan, agora no início de julho, tá? Ou seja, a gente está buscando trazer aí a personalidade, o próprio Ivan também a ideia é que ele também participe. Então, ou seja, isso aqui é apenas um começo, né? Não estamos encerrando, né, apenas uma conferência, mas a ideia é que a gente, com a ferramental, né, com o virtual, a gente consiga realmente tá conectado a todos, né, aqui dentro do país e fora do país, e trazendo pessoas como o Yashi, né, que realmente tem muito a agregar, o próprio Antônio Afonso e muitos diretores e embaixadores e membros aqui no Brasil. Tenho certeza que podemos, vamos dizer assim, otimizar, né, potencializar todo esse conhecimento, né, na nossa rede para todos, né? Então, agradecer aí a presença de todos. Eu sei que é o tempo aqui num sábado, né? Não é fácil, mas vocês estão aí de parabéns. Acho que é sempre gostoso reconhecer, né, aqueles que deram duro aí no último ano e estão aí sendo premiados. Parabéns aí a todos aí. E, né, que a gente consiga repetir mais essa experiência. Eu acho que a gente procurou, não sei se vocês perceberam, a gente procurou também respeitando aí quantas lives, né, a gente tem sido bombardeado. Então, a gente procurou fazer uma conferência mais light, né, mais enxuta, né? Fizemos na quinta, na sexta e hoje, de uma maneira para não sobrecarregar, até porque o BNI já vem também trazendo muitos conteúdos aí para vocês, tá? E vamos lá, vamos em frente e parabéns a todo mundo aí. Vocês, o BNI, como eu falo, né? O BNI são todos aqui, né? São todos os membros, os líderes, os diretores, os embaixadores, e sem vocês a gente não teria realmente toda essa organização e esse resultado que a gente tem tido. E como falou o Yashi, né? Quanto maior o desafio, né, mais bonita é a história, né? E eu acredito que a gente está construindo essa história juntos, tá? Parabéns a todos.
Excelente, Marcos. Então, Muito obrigado a todos que estiveram conosco aí, quinta-feira, ontem pela noite, hoje pela manhã. Saibam que realmente foi um grande prazer para nós, como organização BNI, estar aqui para poder proporcionar tudo isso para vocês. E estamos mais fortalecidos com todo esse conteúdo que nos foi ministrado para que a gente continue mudando a forma como o mundo faz negócios. Para quem quiser, pessoal, acompanhar novamente, assistir novamente, ou até compartilhar, todas as palestras, elas estarão disponíveis no nosso canal do YouTube, a partir de segunda-feira. Então, se você teve alguma parte que não entendeu, ou gostaria de compartilhar, só acessar lá, que estará disponível para vocês. Então, chegamos ao fim da nossa primeira Conferência Nacional online do BNI Brasil. Muito obrigado a você que esteve conosco, seja nos 3 dias ou num dia só. Saiba que realmente foi um prazer, tá? Poder estar com vocês, ver o rostinho de vocês, receber as fotos, e por mais momentos como esses, como o Marcos falou, o BNI, ele não para. Nós não paramos, estamos juntos no nosso propósito, que é continuar mudando a forma como o mundo faz negócios. Então, pessoal, muito obrigado a todos. Tenham um excelente sábado, um excelente final de semana e até a próxima. Tchau, tchau, pessoal.